What's the deal, people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. We are here to discuss the finale of House of the Dragon. I'm not alone. I'm here with the other usual suspects, my boy Phil, the issues guy, and Bridgefort. Bridgefort is here. Phil is going to be late because Phil is on that time. You know how it is with him. I'm waiting to see Bridge in the thing. I'm waiting to see Bridge give me the okay that he can come in. Oh, he's good. All right, let me bring him in now. There he is. Yep. Can I hear you? No, I can't hear you. That could be me though. Let me fix it. 1 second. Let me fix it. No, let me see. Is it you? You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did you get that? That's wild. Where did you get that? Did you make that, or you bought it somewhere?
The Don could make it, but he didn't. I could make it, but I didn't make it. So it's going to be hard for me to see anything right now. I have my glasses on. So.
I saw you testing the glasses a second ago.
Yeah, it's impossible. I can't rock it with the glasses, so I can't do anything. I can't see anything. I can't. So the chat is just. I'm not going to be able to read anything. It's just going to have to go to until Phil gets here. Phil will take care of the chat and everything else as soon as he be here. And Phil will be here. He's just a little bit behind, having some internet issues and stuff. So me and Bridge will shut this off until Phil gets here. All right, so Bridge, what did you feel about the last and final episode of season 1 of House of the Dragon?
I loved it. Just like the Laenor scene, they changed. Well, they didn't necessarily change something. They changed. Like, we had read this for years, right? And we thought it happened one way. But now there's a new wrinkle to it, which kind of parallels the wrinkle that they gave to Alicent finding out the prophecy. So I'm not sure if you're going to like it or not. Like, I like it. I love this wrinkle because it basically, Aemon's not nearly as evil as we thought he was. I think it's pretty awesome.
So you do like it. So they did. So they've done this a couple of times, right?
Yep.
There's a couple of different. Christian Cole, I think, is different. It's not a wrinkle. That's a change. Because in the books, it strictly says that he cut the throat of Beesbury.
Yeah.
This one, he smashes his face. So this is a different situation. This is not the same thing because this is something that we heard of, but we didn't see it actually go down. So we know that Aemon and kills Luke, but we didn't see it actually happen. So from the way it happened that we've seen is that it was more of an accident, that this dude's dragon just got a little hot, shot this dragon in the face, and this dragon said, "You little motherfucker, I'm gonna have to spank you now," instead of just, And you see this if you have dogs. Like I remember my friend had this huge dog, this one dog, and it was what was it, a Caucasian Shepherd or something like that.
Okay,
it was a Caucasian Shepherd. Huge. This dog is huge. And I remember there's this one pit bull, and pit bulls are feisty. And this.
I just looked up Caucasian Shepherd. That's a monster.
It's a huge dog.
Yeah, and it's basically like a furry. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, and this pit bull tried to step up to it, and that Caucasian Shepherd picked that pit bull up by its neck, threw it on the floor, and stood over top of it. And that pit bull just stayed upside down. Just stayed bellied up, didn't move.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. Like, I'm dead. You got me. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
And that's what it seemed here, but to the extreme of it,
totally.
It seemed like it went here because it seemed like you know, she said, "You shot fire in my face. I'm gonna kill you for that shit."
So you know what's wild is that like I've done so many dragon size videos over the years. We don't have too many data points, but we do have one between Arax and Vagar. Vagar was
Mhm.
supposedly five times the size of Arax. So like I'm a math nerd, so I think like I was always trying to make the point of that like that doesn't mean it's got like 1/5 the wingspan. Because if you have 1/5 the wingspan, you're actually like 1/50th the size, the actual mass, right? So I was always going off about the difference between like 2-dimensionals versus 3-dimensionals, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to bore everyone with that. But when it comes down to it, if you look at like the body weight or the mass of these two dragons, Vagar was not 5 times the size of Arax. Vagar was like 50 times the size of Arax. She was huge.
Definitely. What's going on, Phil?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
But yeah, exactly. I used to, or I still do sometimes, watch dogs, and sometimes you'll see a Chihuahua go up to in this one yard I used to work with an Alaskan Malamute. I don't know if you guys have seen those. They're huge. And the Malamute will take it. We'll take the Chihuahua a few times, and then we'll finish it and kind of just hold down, be like, you know, I could kill you. You do realize I could kill you. Vagar didn't give the little dragon a chance, and just was like, okay, you want to mess with me? You want to throw fire in my face? I'm gonna gobble you up. It was like Audrey 2, just popping up through the gap, like feed me Seymour, and just grabbed him. And I kind of liked it too. I like that. And I'm sure you guys have mentioned this before. I know Kev did in his video a little bit, but do you think was it Dragons Gone Wild, or was it feeding into what Aemon's instincts were, like understanding what he wanted without realizing what he wanted, and kind of took charge in the situation? Which side of it do you guys take on that?
Yeah, I like the way your head's working, Phil, because I'm so into like the Dragon Bond and the partial soul swap. However, in this instance, I think that like you could say like his subconscious soul wanted to kill him, Luke, and I actually had not considered that. The way I interpreted the scene is that he literally lost control. So there is a partial soul swap, but I like the way that your head's working. Like you're getting nerdier than I would normally get. I like that.
It's from hanging out with you guys. It is.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that, you know, the dragon feeds on its riders and it does what the rider wants it to do, but they truly want you to believe that he did not want to kill him, that he just wanted to bully him. And that's what they're going for. That's now, if you want to say the dragon did it, you can, but that's not what the writers were going for. The writers were going for 100%. They want you to know that this was an accident, but this accident is what caused the war.
There's so
and I can't do anything with the chat, Phil. So you have to do I can't see shit.
So there's Phil, we can't hear you. You're muted.
You've been hiding your affliction for years now.
I have been hiding, but you know, I told you I was sick. It's just gotten the best of me now. And you know, now I can't.
Who's been poisoning? Who's been poisoning Tony? Kelly Johnson just dropped the super chat. Tony, you got that mask on. You caught a fast one in Saratoga. And let me see. I'll keep an eye on the super chats too. If we got any other ones since then. Phantom of the Opera. We got some Phantom of the Opera. But no, Tony's people have been. There's only murders in Tony's building right now. Oh, that's a good one, JT.
So there's one change. Of course, it's the medium, a show versus a book, and they're sort of going for the surprise value of Luke leaves on Arax, and then they want it to be a surprise to people who don't know the story that Vagar comes. So they couldn't actually show this scene, but I just want to give a shout out to the books. I don't know if the Westerosi Ninja shows up in the chat. I know he loves this line. So Aemon had the choice of Boros's daughters, right? Now he didn't choose one of like the uglier daughters. Her name is Maris, and she was like. It says that she was angry with Aemon for having preferred them to her, like the prettier sisters. And so before he left, she said to him, "Was it one of your eyes he took or one of your balls?" Maris asked the prince in tones as sweet as honey. "I am so glad you chose my sister. I want a husband with all his parts." So it's sort of in the books, it's implied that one of the girls encouraged Aemon to go out there and kill him.
Yeah, like they couldn't. Like she definitely gassed it up to make him go out there and want to kill him. In the books, 100%, and they took all that out. It did not show these girls say anything whatsoever.
But they had to leave it out for the surprise factor. I think it was a good choice to actually leave that out. Cool little scene, though.
But don't you? Why? You know, let's look at the reality of the situation. You fly there by yourself. You land, and you see that big ass dragon out there. You know you fucked this dude's eye up.
You leave right
You know
then.
he's fucked up. Why do you stay? Why did you say, you know what? I'm gonna come back another day. You know, I'm gonna hang out in the back. I'll come back tomorrow and we could talk about this. Why would you stay there? I don't get that situation.
Yeah, it's tricky because first of all, he grew up with him, and so they did grow up a little bit when they were younger, and they played in the art together, and they trained together, and there was bullying, yada yada. Then there's the fast forward 6 years, and they had that dinner scene, and yeah, there was a fight, but at the same time, like they are family. I often think of them as cousins, but technically, Eamon's his uncle, right, or his half uncle.
Yeah.
So like now things have
That's
majorly
true.
changed because Aegon has declared himself as Aegon is declared king. So yeah, things have actually changed, but at the same time, a piece of Luke has to think like, this is my family. He's not going to kill me. That's just the way I'm chalking it up to.
I appreciate what you're saying, Bridge, because I would like to think that with my family, but coming off that dinner, the minute I see Vhagar, I get the hell out of there if I'm
True.
Luke.
So I'll go a different direction. Luke was very, very nervous at the beginning of this episode. He didn't even want to be like the Lord of the Tides. Then he had a conversation with his mother, which is so cute, where he's like, "I'm not like you," and she's like what? And he's like, "Perfect." That was really cute.
Aw.
And then they had that speech out like near the water where she's like, "Listen to me. Like you can do this. Like Lord Boros is a proud." Like she gave him bad information, and he looks up to her so much. He went there thinking that Lord Boros would be proud to have him there. You know, she gave him really bad information, and she sent him there without anything to offer. Like she's a little like, I love Rhaenyra, but she's ignorant to the fact that like she feels entitled to that throne. No one's actually born with the right to the throne. I mean, that's just something that's in her head. Like she didn't realize that she had to offer him something. So she sent her little son there, and he went down there like, I'm a messenger, not a warrior. He was just sort of, I think, trying to do what's right for the mother whom he admires so much.
I agree with you, Bridge. I'm just saying, in the moment, you could tell in the look in his face, he knew it was a mistake. He was intimidated by the size of Vhagar. He got a bad, weird Targaryen spider dragon sense. He got a little tingle right there. If I was him, and I know hindsight is 2020, I would have got back on that dragon, flown home, said, Aemon's already there. What should I do? This changes your plan because because Rhaenyra didn't expect that Aemon would be there, that Alicent and Otto would be on that ahead of her. So maybe it's just more information that you'd want to give to the queen to allow her to make her decision. I know he's a kid and we can't expect that, because I do think you're absolutely right. They made a big point, and I think it was really emotional looking back on it that they started the episode with him. They focused a lot on her relationship with him specifically, and obviously the conclusion of the episode. But I guess in the moment, I'm saying kind of like what Tony was saying. I get down on the ground, I see that big ass dragon. I'm like, this dude hates me. I'm going home. I'm telling my mom and seeing what she wants me to do next. It's not that long of a flight.
But to play devil's advocate real quick is that the fact, like, yes, that's the better move for him personally and his own safety and health. But as like the hero and his responsibility to his mother and to like the realm, theoretically, he made the brave motion. Like the fact that Aemon was there with Vhagar is more of a reason for him to stay and try to accomplish what he was sent there for in the first place.
I would have been like, I would have flew back home and said, Mom, Stone's End is lost.
Yeah.
Aemon's there. It's done. Next, move on. It's time to move
Vhagar
on.
owns Storm's End now.
That's it. They got Storm's End locked up. We got to go to war with them too. Let's hope they have better success. Now, so in the books, we know that they do the Stark stuff happens during this time. They didn't show that, right? They're doing this after. Usually that Stark stuff happens. Do you think they start off next season with the Stark stuff? Or you think it's going to already have happened? He'll be back home and they won't even show anything about that.
I was saying this somewhere. I forget where I said it, if it was on my stream or one of the other ones. I think one of the first shots we'll see next season is Winterfell, is Jace arriving at Winterfell. I think they're going to skip over the Vale stuff and just have that be in dialogue that we hear that of course the Vale's on his side, and kind of see him showing up at Winterfell. At least that's my perspective. I don't know though.
I'm going to split the position there with I don't think they'll skip the Vale because they've already talked about Lady Jane. Daemon has that issue with like Rhea Royce up there. Lady Jane is an important part of the story, her setting. I think what they're going to skip is that he goes from I guess this is kind of spoilery. He goes somewhere in between the Vale and Winterfell. He stops off at White Harbor, so it's like I think they'll drop that. But yeah, as far as like Winterfell, like I'm one of those people that I'm not on Team Cregan Stark. I don't really like him. I like him as a character, but I don't really like who he is. And so many people like love the idea of Cregan Stark, this and that. The fandom really wants to see Starks, so I feel like they can't drop Winterfell and everything like that. They've got to show it.
I don't know why, because I thought that these Baratheons were poor excuses for Baratheons.
You think
Like,
so? He looked just like Robert Baratheon.
you see, and I don't like it when you go for that because that's not what Robert
Okay.
looked like when he was in his prime.
Fair enough.
All right, this was Robert when he was old man. Number one, the Robert that they showed in the show is not the Robert from the books. You know, Robert in the books is a big motherfucker, strong dude. As they said that, you know, Ned Stark couldn't even lift his hammer up with two hands, and Robert would swing that thing around like it was like a feather with one arm, right? So it's a different, you know, Robert Baratheon in the books is a mountain of a man. This guy just looked like they said, hey, let's see if we can find someone that looks closest like the actor who played and say all these Baratheons look the same. I didn't like this guy playing the Baratheon. To me, it was like it was a Euron-esque type of casting. It just didn't work for me. Like when they casted Euron, I think they said, let me just try to find someone that looks someone like Alfie Allen and make that his older brother. And that's why that guy got the job instead of actually looking at what the guy looked like in the books and everything else. So I didn't like it.
Well, I think we should frame this video. What type of spoilers are we doing or not doing? Because we sort of did get into like it's very vague, not that important. But what are we doing for the stream? Sticking to with episode 10? Are we going into the books? What are we doing?
I mean, we can explore a little bit, but mostly we'll flick to episode 10. Anything that happened in the season, we're fine. Okay, we're not going to spoil. You know, the way you just did it with going to the vet, that's fine.
Because that's so vague or whatever.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's vague.
Okay.
You know, we're not going to talk about, you know, people who dies and who lives and stuff like that. That's all. We'll just keep it from that and stuff. So that was that scene. I guess basically you liked the scene. I thought it was all right. Overall, the overall episode itself, though, did you like the way it flowed? Did you think it was boring? I heard a lot of people mad at Rhaenys. That Rhaenys could have killed them, but they gave a reason why she didn't do it early in the episode, right off the bat. She said, "This is not my war to start. Why would I can't do that?" You know what I mean? If I kill them, then she's basically a kinslayer.
Yep. And she has to take that weight onto herself. Before we go past that Baratheon scene, I do want to take a couple of comments in the live chat because a couple of people are asking what's up with him not reading, him being illiterate. Was he illiterate or just so lazy that he's not going to read something unless the maester reads it to him? Like
it's the same thing in the books. He does the same thing in the book. So we can't say whether he's literate or not. That's just what he does. He gives it to the maester, and the maester reads it for him.
It says never a man of letters. Like there are people out there that, you know, they'd rather go out hunting, sleeping with people, just doing other things other than reading, you know. Like he's a Lord of Storm's End. Who's going to force him to read aside from like his father, right? But his father was busy doing his thing. So
yeah, and this is a call-in live stream. I can't tell you the number, but I know it's up there.
Yeah, 781-990-8509 if anyone wants to call in and give their thoughts on the season. Someone says lazy and illiterate.
I don't ever like focusing on things I don't like. And again, even though I'm about to mention something, this is not whammy. I'm not like, I hate the show. But the way, and I love Aemond and I love the actor, but the way he was screaming when he was flying, he's like, ha, 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 ha. I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Give me my jet. I want my jet.
Yeah, it definitely was going for the evil man laugh. The evil.
The Joker laugh. A little Joker laugh.
They're definitely going for that. But now he gets dubbed Kinslayer. And is it not his fault? I mean, he deserves it. I mean, it's like this. It's the way I look at it. If it was cars, let's just say instead of dragons, they were cars, and he was racing around with each other, and he was fun, and he caused this kid to crash because of him being stupid, and the kid died. You would still go to jail.
And it doesn't matter if especially if the Volkswagen Bug decided to fuck with the Mack truck for some reason. Like one of them's in the Mack truck, like the Terminator following John Connor, and the other one's in a little Beetle, but he decides to push the button and do a little flamethrower to the back of the Mack truck. They're gonna get maximum overdrive. Bam. Is he at fault? The bigger question I want to ask is he going to take ownership of it? How is he going to react to the people around him as people face him about it? Is he going to be, I killed him, I meant to do it, F that kid? Or is he going to be, Or is he who if anybody is he going to tell he didn't mean to do it, or is he going to take this one and pretend, this is how big of a badass I am. I'll kill my own nephew. I don't give a fuck. Like what? How do you guys think he's going to take this onto himself with others around him?
I'd like to think that he's not just a straight villain, that he has a heart. So what I would like to find out what happens is that he goes to them, tells them what happened, and then he sees the reactions of people before he tells them the truth. And he might not ever tell them the truth, because it's like the real question is, how is Alicent going to respond? How is Otto Hightower going to respond? How is Aegon going to respond? Like, is Aegon like Aegon had sort of two people on his shoulder. He had Alicent pressuring him towards peace and justice or whatever. Like, we're going to keep the throne, but let's not kill everybody. And he's got Otto on his other shoulder, telling him we need to kill them all, right? So when he finds out about this, is Aegon going to side with his mother or with his father? And I think that's going to play possibly into the way that the conversation that's had and how Aemond responds, whether he holds things in or not.
Yeah, he's definitely getting smacked in the face when he gets back. As soon as he tells his mother what happened, she's smacking the shit out.
She is, but Otto might be happy.
No one wants it to go down like that. Otto was trying to do it diplomatically. Listen, from what Otto and them know, Rhaenyra was going to give them an answer, and they don't know what that answer was going to be. Yeah. They could think they had this thing sewed up peacefully, and now they're going to say there's no peace anymore. Now we have to go to war because you just killed her son. So there's no way Otto or Alicent could be happy with him when he gets back. He has to get screamed on for doing what he did.
Dude, he's got Vhagar. I don't know if Otto's that threatened by the other people at this point.
Yeah, but he went there with a peace treaty, though. If that was the case, he would have never went there with that peace treaty. Which, to me, I will say again, I don't like the peace treaty. This is twice he's gotten away with going there on that fucking same bridge, which is, to me, just ridiculous that would happen. How would they allow him to escape twice? I don't think it should have been done twice. Me personally, it's just the same thing. They should have had someone else go there, and they should have had that person get killed. That make him be able to do it twice is ridiculous. I
just like that. Like, I know he went there with the peace treaty, but I don't think that was something that he wanted. I think that he has sort of let Alicent rule for the time being. Like, he's letting her, and it's sort of similar to the dynamic between Rhaenyra and Daemon. Like, Daemon wants war, he wants blood and fire and blood, whereas Rhaenyra wants peace, or she wants to think about this. So that both of the women sort of want the same thing, although, and then one's got Daemon, one's got Otto, sort of pressuring them towards fire and blood.
Yeah, but it's really not Otto, right? Because when we look at it, it's the king himself that wants the blood. Otto's never really that guy. I mean, that's what happens between, the king and Otto. Like that's why he gets, they don't get along after a while.
Based off what we know so far through like episode 9, it's Aegon didn't even want to be king. Now he gets raised to king, and he's got two people speaking in his ear, but we don't know which way he's going to go.
Well, when he grabbed that sword, it's pretty obvious he was happy to be king then.
Happy to be king.
Like, the pussy I'm going to get. Oh, the pussy I'm going to get.
Tony, that's exactly. He wasn't thinking about the king. He was thinking about the pussy he was going to get.
There's no doubt about it.
Miss Williams gives us a super chat donation. Who's going to ride Vermithor? That's the dragon that Daemon was singing to. And I think he was singing something like "You will have a rider soon." So will we see a rider for that dragon next season? Without saying too much, I think I know the answer to this question, but I don't want to say anything. Will we see a rider for this dragon next season?
Yes.
I agree. So let's get in. That character will be introduced. Okay, so let's go to our voicemail line. This is from area code 917.
Kev, I love you, but this Aemond protecting has got to stop.
Well, there was some weird robotic thing at the beginning. I got to hear that again.
What? Yeah, I thought they did that on purpose.
Me too. I thought it was some like auto-tune effect or something. I got to hear it again. I'm sorry, but we'll get into this. I think she starts off saying, "I love you, but this Aemond protecting has got to end," and I think she's directing it at Bridge. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Kev, I love you, but this Aemond protecting has got to stop. At the end of the day, Vhagar did not fly after Jace alone. Aemond was on his back, so he had to know something was going to happen. And I'll just leave it there. But I love you guys. Bye. Alana Perstain of Bravos, by the way.
Welcome.
was
And I'll just say that Luke cut out the dude's eye. Like, listen, if you cut out my eye and I've got Vagar, I'm not going to listen to my mother. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
No, not really. Not really. When it comes down to war, I'm not actually.
In this fantasy world, you're gonna kill them.
But
Yeah.
but in the show, it seemed like he got over that the same night it happened. Because in the show, he was like, "I don't care. I lost the eye. I gained the dragon. It's fine."
That-
Right?
Fair,
that
So
is
he's
like-
like,
fair for
but they
fair.
said he got over it the same night. Now all of a sudden, 20 years later, he's still upset about it. Which one is it?
I don't think it's fair to say, like, in that moment, he's just very happy that he's got Vagar. But then once time passes, it's like, wait a second. I got Vagar before. It's not like I said, like, yeah, I'm going to trade an eye for Vagar. He didn't make that choice. He should have had Vagar and both of his eyes. So, like, as time goes by, I think that hate and that resentment can settle back in. That's like, wait a second. Yeah, I've got Vagar, but
And I was gonna say, and it was the pig. The pig being there on the table, and then
That's
Luke
it.
laughing at that.
The
That brings it
chuckle-
all
the
back.
chuckle about the pig in front of him. That was it. It was
Luke screwed this up himself to a
He
certain
did. He
extent.
should
at
have
times.
never put that. Number one, the pig shouldn't have been placed in front of him. And the fact that it was, and he chuckled about that pig, that was the end of it. Once
Shut
he
up,
chuckled,
Luke.
he's like, "Oh, you want to make jokes? I got jokes for you, motherfuckers. Here's my joke."
Yep.
And that was it.
Yeah, that reopened the eye wound. At that point, it was if there was going to be a point where he forgave it right there, it's like this little cocky strong boy is laughing at this pig, right? Oh, I'm done, and then it slammed down, but no more. And slams down his fist at that point in time. He does need therapy, Claude, but that's beside the point.
They all need therapy. Every
There's-
one of them.
Yeah, there's no Westerosian therapists. I don't think so.
They definitely all need therapy.
We do have another voicemail. This is from area code 404. No transcription, so we'll hold on to this one.
Good evening, Tony. Good evening,
Oh,
Phil. And
nice.
good evening, Bridge 4, and everyone in the chat. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. I'm so glad that we're doing this breakdown of the finale because I'm still, just processing it all. I think it was such a good episode. And me personally, my favorite scene in the entire episode was Rhaenyra's coronation. I thought that was the beautiful moment because it symbolizes her, accepting her destiny and realizing that, my dad left me this throne and this responsibility to hold the realm together, and I have to fight for it. I think it was a very good moment for her. And I also really liked the scene where Rhaenys, Jace, and Luke were all flying away from Dragonstone, and we heard the House Targaryen theme song, because I don't think we've heard that song since Daenerys in Game of Thrones. So it was a much needed moment, I think, because, these are her ancestors, this is her family. And so I thought that was a really awesome scene. When it comes to Aemond and Luke's confrontation, I think that they adapted it perfectly. Now, I do wish, and like Bridge said, that he wishes that there were some other lines that were put in from the books, and I agree. I thought that would have been awesome. But overall, I think they did a good job, and I cannot wait to see, the reaction of the green side from the books, because I really hope that they nail that to a T, because I think it communicates how much of a mistake it is. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. I'm excited to be here with you guys, and thank you. Bye-bye.
No, thank you for the call. Every time you call, you leave a great call.
Yeah,
We
great
truly appreciate it.
great voicemails as
We
always.
truly appreciate it. And we're going to go back and we're going to touch on all those points that he makes, the coordination, everything else. We'll still deal with what we're dealing with here with the death of Luke and the starting of Dance of the Dragons, because that's where we're at. So I'm sure that's what people want to talk about and everything. So, Phil, but before we do that and wait for Bridget to get back, overall, the whole episode as a whole.
Yep. I thought it was a good episode. It was one of the better ones of the season. I think for me, still episode 8 was the pinnacle of the season, just from a television standpoint. The last 2 episodes were good. I saw someone post about it. But both these episodes, episode 9, I know got a little bit of a hard time with some of the elements of it, but I think episode 9 and episode 10 were really good. This episode had a lot of really great tension and energy built up. And going to the Luke section, the only part that bothered me in that whole thing was okay. I thought the lead up, I thought the way that it was shot in the clouds looked really cool. And when it came up to the above the clouds and you got that open sunshine thing, I thought that was really good too, because so much in these dragon battles, or when we got these dragons, they're in the clouds or they're in the shadows, especially when they interact. But when you're Luke, and again, You watch the scene. We gave Rickon a lot of shit for not zigzagging. The dude stops. You got a giant ass dragon chasing after you. You stop. And I thought another part of that scene that was cool was when he went in that inner part where Vhagar couldn't get in because he was too small. And for a smart move like that, it just doesn't make sense. When he hovers over the cloud for a second, he pauses, looks both ways, crosses the street, and gives Vhagar a chance to catch up and then get him. I would have just kept going. Once I see fresh air, bam, I'm going with speed. That's part of the issue why Vhagar was able to keep up with him, because it was all cloudy and all that sort of stuff. Once you're in the sunshine, zip, go boy.
Yeah, I would have stayed my ass in those trees where he couldn't get me.
Yeah, or that too.
I would have just landed. And I'm like, no, we camping out here for the night.
People say I think he was lost. I think he was too. It was a big emotional moment. I'm just saying I've ran for my life before too. Not too many times, but there's been times where I'm running for my life.
That's the city life, right? In the city, eventually, at one point in your life, you're going to run for it.
And I don't stop until I'm much further than I'm safe. And if I'm on a dragon, I'm riding that thing as far. I'm riding my rollerblades or my skateboard till my leg falls off, and to get away from all those dudes.
In Luke's defense, we saw that he lost control of Arrax. Arrax is getting chased by Vhagar.
No,
he didn't technically have complete control. Like, hey, we're gonna stop here and pause. This is the best hiding spot. Like, that dragon was shook. Actually, that dragon was feisty. It went
that
after
dragon thought it could win the fight bridge. That dragon was an idiot. That dragon's like my cat when it thought it could beat me in a fight if it takes me out at the knees. That thing was stupid. I'm not blaming Luke as much as I'm blaming the dragon for that blast of flames. I don't think Vhagar would have eaten him if it wasn't for that.
No, it took that blast. Even though he was snapping at him before that blast, like before he was snapping at him. But these dragons are just such cannibals. Like, how do you eat your own? I mean, all these creatures, they eat their own kind all the time. I don't understand how you eat your own so easily. You know, I just don't get it, how that happens and stuff. But hey, it is what I don't see alligators eating other alligators and shit. I've never seen that in my life. These dragons are cannibals.
Did he eat him though, or did he just kill him? Because like humans kill humans, and tigers kill tigers.
Yeah, he snapped him in half. I mean, we didn't see him swallow, but we didn't see Luke fall to the floor. So we got to imagine the saddle and all that part went down his belly.
Luke is like Pinocchio in the belly of the whale at this point. I mean, Luke could be alive in that belly of that dragon right now. He might have just swallowed him whole.
Maybe that's what we'll see in season 2. Luke come back.
Dude, that's beginning of. I think we've now figured out this is the one scenario.
Luke is going to be reborn in a pile of shit.
Yep.
He's going to shit him out. Luke comes through the shit, and now he gets revenge.
Ace Ventura.
Now he's after Aemon One Eye. He comes after Aemon, the shit man. Comes back as the shit man, the dragon shit man. And this is it. Now he'll be back before the season's end to kill him.
Writers, I hope you're listening right now, because we have the storyline for season 2 right here.
This is it. This is the way it goes. You guys listen to the Don Tony Teflon Phil Issues guy in Bridgeport. Shit boy. Chapter 1. Luke. It's coming back. Beware, shit boy.
Don't have to worry, get your shit, buddy.
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening.
He's coming back for you. Don't worry about it.
You're just like, where are you going with that song? Okay, that's where
Bridge, overall episode. How did you feel about the whole episode itself?
I mean, I loved it. So I'm going to just play a different perspective. Like, I don't like to, people even compare, like, they don't like season 8. I liked it, right? But I don't even like to compare seasons to seasons or episodes to episodes, because there's a certain story you have to tell. And like, it's like episode 7 was a function of episodes 1 through 6. Episode 9 was a function of 1 through 8, 10, a function of 1 through 9. Like, this is just a piece of the story that they're telling over a 4-season long story. So it's like, when I'm reading a book, I don't expect every chapter to have a certain path, a certain trajectory, and a certain climax. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, was this the most exciting episode standalone? No, it wasn't the best, but it was a very necessary episode. And I came away just like I always do, like, whoa, because I love that little Aemon wrinkle that they added.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Obviously, I do think episode 8 was the pinnacle of the season, but I don't think that this fell far from it. I thought they did a good job. Rhaenyra's face at the end, I know she was looking upset. I would like to see, I would like to see a little more anger in her face. Now, I don't know if the actress, that's her evilest face that she could give, but I would have liked to see like blood dripping from her fucking eyes, like mad like that, man. I mean, she gave a face. It was good, but I would have liked to see her a little bit more angry. What about, how did you feel about her face at the end?
I did, as she was turning around, I expected an angrier face. But then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, wait a second, because I've loved this actress. I'm like, did she nail that or not? When I thought about it, I'm like, this woman just found out that her son was killed. It's gonna like she's definitely experiencing anger. We're probably going to see that come out in season 2, but at the same time, I would think more than anger, she's feeling pain at that moment.
Yeah.
And so that's why her face reflected.
And feeling stupid because in her own way, she's thinking she was responsible because she agreed to send her sons. And as you said earlier, maybe gave her son, or when she hears about it, maybe wrong information, or she'll start blaming herself for that situation. I do want to bring up a question I've seen a lot in comment sections. And before someone asks it, how did Daemon find out what happened to Luke? I mean, you could say that the pieces of the dragon fell down around Storm's End, and then Storm's End sent a raven. I don't think something like that's super important. Daemon found out somehow, and he came back. We don't know how long that was. That could have been. It could have just been heard the tales. It could have been after Aemon landed and said something to somebody. So I know that question's been asked a bit. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that is important because it's like in the books it says that he washed up, blah blah blah. Then it says like, no, that's just a rumor. No one ever found his body. So it is important. Like, did he wash up? Did someone like a small folk find him, tell Storm's End, and did they relay the information? Did small folk relay it directly to Dragonstone, or did Aemon tell people and did they relay the information? Because I think if that's the way it went down, if Aemon went back, he told them, and then they told Dragonstone, that just adds a little more complexity to the relationships that we're going to see between the two sides.
Yeah, in the books it says the dragon washes up, but Luke doesn't, but the dragon does. They do find pieces of dragon.
I think afterwards it says that that's the Maester believes that was just a rumor, that neither of them were found. I'll double check that.
And Fernandez T just dropped a super chat donation, a little dancing pair with a cup of coffee. Thank you, Fernandez. Very much appreciate that. I'm just gonna show a different comment on the stream and then hide that on the stream. We got 2 more voicemails. This is from area code 859.
Hey Phil, hey Tony, hey Bridge, what's up, fellas? Listen, let's call it the way it is. This is Game of Thrones, and Aemon is a great character, and he's a badass motherfucker. And listen, Luke didn't have to be so noble. He could have said, "Yeah, I can marry one of your daughters, my lord." I mean, he didn't have to be so fucking noble, did he? He could have offered Lord Boros something. So let's just call it the way it is, shall we? I love you guys. Thanks for all your stuff with Game of Thrones and all the content.
Great call, man. Thank you.
I agree. He could have just lied at that particular time. There's always a time for a particular lie to jump off. Always a time, and that was a time for one to say, "Yep, I'll take both of them." Which one didn't he marry? I'll marry them both. I'm Hart Targaryen. I can have 2 brides. I'll take both of them.
Just like the dudes in the episode before that aren't kneeling down for the new king. Just kneel down for the new king, wait a couple weeks, go home, and then call Rhaenyra and go, "They made me do it," and go on her side. If you really want to hold off on that, just know the right time to lie. If anything Game of Thrones has taught us through Ned Stark, through lots of things, know the right time to die and kill children.
For what it's worth, Tone, I just did the fact check. You're correct in that. At first, one of the things it offers is that both the dragon and like the neck and whatever, the wing or something, the dragon and the boy washed up on shore. And then it says like, the boy's body was never found. So you're right in that, like, it doesn't sort of negate the fact that the dragon washed up. Yeah.
And
there we go. Fact check. The Don was on. Thank you.
This is area code 248.
Hey y'all. Hope y'all having a great night. This is Nick. I was thinking about Aemon, and I just don't see him going back home and telling people that he lost control of his dragon. I don't see him trying to make himself appear weak in front of anybody. I just don't think that's within the character in the books or on the show. So I just don't see him going back home and saying that he lost control of Aegar to anybody. But I guess we'll see. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a great night.
So there's always 2 different things when you deal with Game of Thrones, right? It's what really happens or what happens behind closed doors, and then the perception of the people in Game of Thrones, right? So he gets the name Kinslayer from the people in Game of Thrones. So those people, the small folk and everyone, they all believe that he killed them on purpose. Doesn't mean he won't go back and tell Otto and his mother and them, "Hey, he got out of control,
it was an accident,
and this is what happened. It was an accident." So his family, I believe, will know the truth, but the people themselves will still think that he is Kinslayer. Same thing, I guess we could say happened with Jamie Lannister, right? That's just the way it goes and everything. So
I hope he
that's
finds
where
his
I see it.
I hope he finds his Brienne to be able to actually tell this information. People saying honor is important. It is, but I also think sometimes when it's a matter of your life, lying isn't the worst option. Self-perseverance can live for higher honor later in this kind of world, not necessarily in real life, but in the Game of Thrones universe where it could be beneficial to keep your thoughts to yourself. I mentioned Ned earlier. Ned not disclosing his whole hand to Cersei in that moment and giving her an opportunity to know when he was coming. It's just talking to Robert first in that situation and just holding your tongue a little bit. It's I guess it's just knowing the room a little bit.
I had not considered it the way that caller mentioned, the fact that like he might have this pride of not wanting to admit that he lost control, and I started buying into that real quick. Excuse me. However, now I finally came to, I think, the theory that I'm going to settle in with until next season. I think what I would find the most compelling is if he did tell Alicent the truth, that she tried relaying that information to Rhaenyra, and then Rhaenyra just doesn't believe her. I think that would make the most.
It wouldn't matter. It don't matter. Her son's dead. So whatever truth, she's not going to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because Rhaenyra's position is going to be, I told you I'd give you my answer in the morning. And you done went out and just killed my son. You killed my son. My son is dead now, right? That's it. It's over. There's no more talking. There's no more this. You want war? Now you got war. Now you got it. You done killed my motherfucking son. So even if she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," there's no accident. There's no way around it. There's nothing you can do that's going to make that person be down with him. Again,
sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying again, if you want to equate it to a car accident or something like that, it's just not going to happen. If your son is fucking around with someone else in the car and you cause this person's son to die, you're not going to be able to say, "Hey, my boy was just playing. He didn't mean to kill your son. My son's dead." That means your boy still got to go to jail. Something's got to happen. It's not, "Oh, it was an accident. Let him learn from that." No, he's got to go to jail. Something's got to happen to him.
I totally get Rhaenyra's like what her response presumably is going to be, like anger and like blood and fire, and I just find it much more compelling if Alicent knows the truth and tries to like at the end of the day, it was an accident. It was a stupid move by Aemon and Vhagar, but it was an accident. And so what happens going forward, it would be more interesting to me if they were told that it's an accident and then they make decisions they make anyway.
And to that point, we got a super chat donation from For My Peoples. I am fully prepared to support Rhaenyra for any and all war crimes she's about to commit. # Team Black. And that's to that point. And Bridge, I definitely see what you're saying. I agree with what Tony's saying too. It doesn't matter, but from just a dramatic standpoint of the standpoint of if Alicent is really trying to, like she sent the piece of the book ripped out with Otto. She tried to control that situation when Otto wanted to kill Rhaenyra and Daemon and just be done with it. That was his original plan. That's what episode 9 was. Episode 9 was all about. Them maneuvering so Alicent got on top to basically take control of the situation and offer those terms to Rhaenyra. So if to continue on with that trend, Alicent finds out about this and she tries to extend that information, but before she can even do it, or she does, and it doesn't matter because, again, like For My People says, I'm fully prepared to support Rhaenyra for all war crimes she's about to commit right now. Because if we go by the look on her face, she's letting Daemon be Daemon right now. She's saying, okay, Daemon's coming to her with that look, and that's really what this is all about. Everything that Daemon was pushing for in this episode, she's giving him the green light to do whatever he wants. I'm not saying she's not going to be responsible for these actions and be a part of the planning thing, but his gas is burning, right? His fire is going to be, enhancing, adding gasoline to her fire, and she's going to be there for it at this point. Any ability she had to hold that off, and I think that's what that last scene means in a sense too. Daemon wasn't happy to present that information, but there was a look on his face, like a "told you so" kind of look. At least I perceived that kind of look. Like, I'm sorry, but we didn't act first. You wanted them to act first. There you go. Your son's dead. Let me do my thing. I have a particular set of skills.
Yeah, and it's also it's not Daemon's son, right? So Daemon ain't gonna care that this kid is dead. He ain't gonna care at all. This is her son. Her son, perceivably with the guy that she truly loved, right, is dead. So that's the way you have to look at it. But people have said something about the mask. This is the actual mask that Viserys, well, I mean, it's not the one from the show, but the design of it is that same exact design that he had on. Someone just subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. I can't see it. Welcome to the family. I can't see your name, but welcome to the family. I truly appreciate you subscribing to the channel.
This is from earlier. Somebody said, I think it was in response to you guys talking about what's going to be the response from the Team Green about this. 859 says, Otto is smart. He's not going to be happy about this either. So is anyone going to be happy about this? Is anyone going to give Aemon the big hug and say, good job, buddy?
His brother. It would be his
dumbass brother's going to be
his brother will be the one to say, good job. So what? Let's go to war. We could beat them, blah, blah, blah. That's what, because it's always youth. Youth never values life. You know, youth, I remember, and it's sad to say, but I remember truly like being 16 years old, drinking 40s and everything else, and saying, like, we're sitting with my friends, like, we ain't gonna live past 20. Like, and that was truly our mindset. And I truly, at that time in my life, did not believe that I would live to see 20 years old. And a lot of my friends felt the same exact way. Like, we didn't think we were gonna make it to 20, like, you know. So when you're young, you don't really realize, you know, how important life is and what life truly means. I mean, I used to do stupid stuff when I was little, jump out the building on third store.
Dude, jackass shit. Yeah,
you know, and when I look back at that and I look at those buildings now, I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? I would never even think of doing anything like that.
I jumped off that into that body of water. What the F was I thinking?
Yeah, but when you're young, you do stupid shit because you don't really value life until
Kevin's like, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna go jump off something tomorrow.
I think if you go back to the great scene at the Last Supper when Helena was dancing with Jacaerys, if you look closely, she actually had a knife in her hand, and I'm pretty sure she was going to kill him. Like I'm totally making that up. So I don't think she's gonna be happy. I don't think she'll be happy. But
dude, you're gonna have people rewinding the tape, watching the video.
Yeah, what's Bridge saying?
Bridge doesn't make shit up. What do I do?
No, I do think maybe the Clubfoot he may see this as an opportunity for some chaos and to play some moves, make some moves.
Fritz Mod gives you a $4.20 donation. Cheers all with the smoke. Cheers to you, my friend. This is area code 773.
Hello to all three of you guys. What up, Don Tony Chaflon? Chia, Bridge, my good gal there. I got a question about what is the process of dragon bonding? Been a couple of situations like where Daemon was on top of Caraxes and he got hit, the dragon reacted, right? Also, Daemon went and he like dragon bonded with an extra dragon. And Daenerys did control 3 dragons. So why didn't Jon bond with Rhaegal the same way as other Targaryens? Have a great day, fellas. I love you, family.
I would say this, and they did give an example of it, and I think that they did that for a reason. Like, I don't think they just did it for no reason. Because when Rhaenyra was giving birth, they had her dragon screaming too, right? Yep. Like when she was in pain, the dragon felt the pain, and there's no reason for them to show that unless somehow that is something that was going on that's going to pay off later on. Right, so they're saying that the dragons can feel what the person that's bonded with them feel in some way. So people who are saying that it's quite possible that you know Vhagar knew what Aemon's intentions were in his heart, that would be a sign to say that would be the thing, and why it would be that. And it was just too late by the time he tried to pull him back. But they also made a point of having Luke say to his dragon, obey me, make sure you obey me, right? Make sure that you do what I tell you to do. Listen to me.
He was like Ash trying to control Charizard in that moment. He just couldn't do it. Charizard's like, I'm not listening to you. I'm spraying fire where I want to spray fire.
That's it. That's just like, fuck you. I spray you. And now you're dead. Now you're dead. Bite your ass right in half.
Tasty.
I mean, we have something. It's very similar to skin changing. I don't think there's any difference per se. I know people get in my case and say dragon bonding is different than warging and skin changing. I don't think so. So there's like the prologue to A Dance with Dragons, and then there's also the brand chapter. So in the prologue to Dance with Dragons, we see inside of the head of a skin changer when he's warging different animals, and more importantly, inside branch chapters, at least in A Dance with Dragons, he's inside Summer doing things. He's also inside Hodor doing things. When he's inside Hodor is like a little wimpy kid in the back of his mind. So Bran has complete control of Hodor. Yeah, when he's inside the wolf, he sees like swords as like metal. He calls them like metal teeth, and like so he's not really Bran. He's a hybrid mind of like Bran and the wolf, and he's thinking of things through the eyes of a wolf. So in terms of dragon bonding, like it's a partial soul swap. In the books, there are going to be a couple times we'll see them, like you were alluding to it earlier, where like people yell and their dragon yells. We actually saw it in the show when Dany lost Viserion. She was in so much pain, and all of a sudden Drogon screamed. To me, that was Dany's pain coming out through Drogon. And we've seen it with like already in this season with obviously Caraxes always like shows up at the exact right time. That's because of that mental connection, that sort of partial soul swap. There's also the crab feeder scene down the Stepstones when Daemon got shot. Caraxes was like Caraxes. So yeah, there's a partial soul swap, but that doesn't mean that the humans have complete control of the dragon as we saw.
And those of you that were wondering, and there's a still shot of Daemon, people going, oh, is that grayscale on him? No, that is the wound that Bridge was talking about when he got shot by the arrow. And we just see the wound at a different point. A couple of people have looked at the pictures of still shots of Daemon in the episode, goes, oh, see, he's got grayscale from the crab feeder. No, I'm pretty sure it's from the arrow wound earlier in the season.
Another thing real quick. He mentioned, sorry, what was that?
I was going to say, Jenna S., thank you for becoming a member. But go ahead.
Nice. So he mentioned Daemon bonding a second dragon, Vermithor. He was singing to a dragon. We don't know what happened there. He was singing to him, which is I don't know, interesting.
Yeah, was that
I want y'all to see me.
Oh no, don't do it, Tony. Don't do it. I don't want to see it. Oh, the whole.
I want you to see me once for what I really am.
Well played.
Good job.
All right, I gotta put my glasses on now. I can't let Phil just do all this work.
You lasted a while though. You lasted an hour, dude. That's not bad with that.
All right. Now I can help you out here.
Yeah, Tony was only half in the stream for.
I think another thing that's interesting though is personalities, right? Like they say if like Brandon, or excuse me, like with Varamir and stuff. It's like, what type of animals do you want to warg? Like people talk about, you don't want to warg like a prey animal, because a prey animal is like a deer. Then you will absorb some of those characteristics and you'll become a more scared type human. Whereas if you warg like the eagle, like Orell bonded an eagle, but stay too long in an eagle and you're not going to want to come down. Like you can get lost in that thing. You just want to fly your whole life or whatever. So also in terms of like personalities, like, yeah, dragons are like, we think of dragons as aggressive creatures or whatever, but dragons are different. Like the cannibal is a dragon that goes out and eats other dragons. Like some dragons have different temperaments and also another thing he mentioned on there is Dany bonding 3 dragons. I'm not sold on that. There were times where I believe she had a bond with all 3, but I'm not sold on that. I think she may have just been bonded to Drogon.
Yeah, I would say it was more Drogon than the other ones. If it was so, because if she was bonded, then Jon Snow wouldn't have been able to ride it.
Yeah,
right. We in this book series, we know that for fact, right? That the person who bonds the dragon is the only one who could ride that dragon, or the dragon won't accept another rider. We won't talk about it, but we know that for fact. So the fact that Jon Snow was able to ride it means that she wasn't bonded to that dragon.
But she did have a relationship. Like they're her babies, and they did follow her around everywhere.
Yeah, it seemed like they really thought that was their mother.
Did we ever see a scene or a moment in the books or in the show where she rides any of the other dragons besides Drogon?
No.
Yeah, the books are all the way back at the Dragon Pit. Like she flew out of Marine. It hasn't got much further than that. I haven't read the Dany chapters in a while, so I want to just play devil's advocate real quickly. So you know how we're talking about this partial soul swap, and it's like where if you yell, maybe the dragon yells, or if you're mad, the dragon might hiss. I know for a fact that when the dragons are little, like when she's in Astapor and stuff, the Drogon hisses. I think there may have been a situation where it's like Rhaegal or Viserion hissed also. Now. And so there was a time period in my life where I was like, oh my God, she's bonded to all 3 of them because her anger is being reflected in like Viserion and Rhaegal. Or it could just been like they're reading the room. They see that she's mad and they're mad too. You know what I mean?
Or the 2 of them are in a way bonded to Drogon. They're like Drogon's their leader, and they sort of look to him and react by his emotions. You see that again with dogs, and like in a like when you work with in like a dog group or we work with multiple dogs, like one dog will take the leadership and then the other two little dogs, we're following him around. And as people in the live chat pointed out too, Drogon might have been bonded with Dany, but he snapped at her a lot and he didn't always listen to her. She wasn't the best with her bond with Drogon. Drogon kind of did his own thing a lot of the times.
But she locked the other ones up too, you know.
Yeah,
so Drogon wasn't trying to be locked up. She was like, "Nah, not me. I'm not getting locked up. Y'all can lock them up, but you ain't locking me up."
What kind of Vermithor is going to be the second biggest dragon in the dance? Do you think he was like, there's a different style dragons? I had expected him to be like a Vhagar type dragon, but it seems like he might be like a Drogon dragon, right?
It does look like a Drogon dragon. Now, I guess they have to have those Drogon type looking dragons too, right? They're gonna definitely have a couple of them in the show without a doubt.
So what's interesting is that, like, I expected Meleys to be bigger, but Meleys is like a slightly smaller version of Drogon. Now, Vermithor is going to be a bigger version of Drogon, so that's pretty badass.
You would add that. Also, he said so in dealing with dragons and bonding and everything else. With that, there has to be something. I mean, whether they show it, usually when they show something, they pay it off in the same episode, but. Just know that the fact that they showed her having and the dragon screaming every time she screamed, that means that they showed you that for a reason. They didn't just show that to you just to show it to you. Yeah. Something's going to happen with that. So let's go to that birth scene and everything else. Now, I know there's a lot of people who love the blacks, and I'm not telling you that I hate the blacks or not. I have to be neutral because I have a show, and this is when you have a show, you tread the line. And I stay neutral, but we have to say that Daemon's a dick, 100% now. I don't think there's any way around this that anyone can say. I'm not telling you not to like the guy. I like him. I think I drink a beer with him. He ain't got no threat to me. You know what I mean? But overall, this is not the guy you want marrying your daughter.
No. I mean, if he's not going to choke her, he's going to hit her with a rock. Bridge said it really well, and I actually listened to Bridge's video before. He's a compelling character, but he's not a good dude.
I'd say that.
He's an amazing, compelling character, and he has these sides and these qualities where you're like, yeah. And I've said this before. I said this on my show, this comparison. It's not a good comparison, but it reminds me of David Chase saying people like Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano, he likes animals. Oh, he really cared about that horse. He's a good dude. He cares about his kids. You see him grab AJ when AJ was in the pool. He cares about AJ. He cares about this. He cares about that. Meanwhile, he's, spoiler alert, choking some of his family members out after car accidents. He's a horrible person, and it's not even like with Breaking Bad. Walter's just horrible by the end, but like with someone like Tony, you're always like, oh, there's some good in there. And I think Daemon's a character like that, where you can always see there is a good quality, there is some honor within him. He's a horrible dude.
Walter's not choking his wife right after she gives miscarriages.
No, because he's too much of a wimp to do it. He would think about doing it if it would serve his need. He let Jane choke when she was passing out from a heroin because he didn't have to get his hands dirty. That's how slimy Walter is. Walter's like the little finger, more of a little finger. He doesn't want to necessarily get his hands dirty.
He wouldn't. I wouldn't see him doing that at all. I mean, this is a guy who choked a woman who just miscarried his baby.
Yep.
That I don't know what else you need to see. He beat his other wife in the head with a rock. He choked a woman who just miscarried his baby. When she was screaming for him to come into the room, he refused to go in the room and hang out with her. He stayed out there. What else do you have to say that he's not? And when you have somebody like this on your side, this is Rhaenyra's fault. This is why you get the response to people. People know him. And people know that if you take the Iron Throne, he's going to be next in line. He's going to be close to it.
Yep.
Why would we want you on the Iron Throne when you have this guy on your side?
To play devil's advocate, now that they are going to war, it's like this is someone who you want on your side. A, because of just who he is and how he's got Caraxes. But B, because there aren't too many people in the realm during this time since there's been so much peace. There aren't too many people with battle experience. They've got numbers 1 and 2. They've got Corlys and Daemon. These are the two most experienced people. Corlys also has a fleet, and Daemon has Caraxes. arguably the most battle tested. I mean, Vhagar's the most battle tested, but Aemon doesn't know war. Now, on the flip side, you've got Kristen Cole. He's down there in the marshlands where the Dornish marshes. So he's been in battle per se, but not the type of battle that Daemon's been in. But Kristen Cole has been in actual battle. So there's people on both sides who have seen real fighting and real battle. But you've got to give the advantage to Daemon and Corlys with the experience.
Yeah, I would give them the experience. But again, do they have the experience when it comes to the political side of the battle? Right? Because when you have war, so all war is, and this is the only thing war is just a means to get to a political end.
Mhm.
That's all it is. You fight a war to eventually get to a political end. If not, that's called genocide, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
like
you just
Tywin
kill
Lannister.
everybody and just kill everything. You're fighting a war to somehow have a political side eventually come up that you can negotiate. That's all. That's the only reason why you're doing it, right? So, do they have the savviness to? Does Daemon have the savviness to understand that, or is he just willing to burn everything? So that's the difference. Everyone's like, "Oh, just go down there and burn everything." That's genocide. You don't want to commit genocide.
Exactly.
There's no sense of that. You don't want to just do it. You have to win this war where the people respect you from winning the war afterward. And Daemon, I don't know if he has the chops to win a war like that. I just think he's more of a genocide guy. I'll burn everything, kill everybody, and that's it, and be done with him.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that rule that way, and it has been successful. It's like that's not the type of leader that I would like, but there are people that are successful like that, like leading with an iron fist or whatever. Actually, we even saw it with the Gold Cloaks. He ruled the city with an iron fist, and it kind of worked, to be honest. Now, but like you said, you're playing with fire when you've got someone like Daemon on your side.
You gotta hope that Rhaenyra, unlike Viserys, can kind of curb his worst instincts and use him more for. It's better to have a person like that on your side in a situation like this than against you. So maybe she can use him, but I agree in the sense of what you're saying, Tony. He's not going to think about political ramifications. He's not going to think about what it all means. It's kind of Rhaenyra calls him out on it in the episode. If I could sit on the Iron Throne, or if you could sit on the Iron Throne and not kill Otto, what would you want here? Like, what's the situation? And he has to think about it for a second. You see the look in his face. Well, he's a pompous cunt. I gotta kill him. You don't get it. Or and he has all these amazing one-liners and responses in this episode. Daemon, these crazy sort of that dog faced. I wouldn't have my kids wipe the shoes off that pathetic blah, blah, blah. And you can see the frustration and the blood and the fire building up in him. But I guess it's on Rhaenyra in this moment to make sure she sort of aims that in the right direction, because she's the sensible person.
She's got to be the queen, right? He has to follow what she says. He's not in control as much as he wants to believe he is.
And he can't.
The final say always comes down to her. So it always comes down to, so no matter what, it's always going to be on her. And you can't allow somebody to give you a bad look when it's all said and done. She can't allow him. So you seen it with Alicent, right? When Alicent was dealing with Otto, same type of situation here. What Otto was trying to do was trying to get his hands on her son so she could tell him, kill your sister. She has to die. And Alicent was like, no.
Nope.
That's Viserys' fucking child, you fucking idiot. He loved her. You don't kill her. So it's the same situation. That the sense was like, you can't just go and kill Viserys' daughter. That's not what he would have wanted. There's no way in hell you can convince me that he will want his daughter to be dead.
And YouTube Time Machine, I absolutely think, just for my own interest, I wouldn't mind Daemon go, okay, you guys all can go, but Otto has to die. I gotta kill Otto right now. He can't step on this damn, as Tony was saying, he can't step on this damn bridge again and be allowed to walk off of this. Just let Daemon kill him and be done with it. So
I think Rhaenyra is like very intelligent, and I think prior to the war kicking off here with this Vhagar thing, I think Rhaenyra was in a great spot of like she has fire inside of her, but also restraint, right? Mm-hmm. And she's also she was being guided by Rhaenys, who I think was arguably the most important player, like the most important quarterback of the Blacks at this point. Now, Corlys Velaryon, he had some blind spots to who he was and his views on things. he broke past those blind spots in this last episode. He realized that he had been his whole life pursuing things for himself. Like, so he got rid of his blind spots, and now the war's kicked off. I think that he's arguably the best player, like the best quarterback in the realm in terms of he's been to war, yet he also recognizes the value of like peace and trade, shipping lanes. I think he's the most valuable person in this war at this point. Yeah.
His ships are too, especially.
Yeah, he definitely, because by blocking off that sea,
that's big.
The Lannister fleet would have to come all the way around the top.
Exactly.
Of Westeros and come all the way around, and which would take years for them to do that. There's no way they can ever come down as long as they keep that.
And then they'd have to try to deal with the blockade, which would just be suicide anyway. If they even tried that, it would just be, I don't know. Do the Lannisters have enough ships at this point to be able to bust through that kind of blockade?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but real quick, what I was getting at though is not just like his like functionality in terms of having the fleet. Like, yeah, that's badass, and he also has battle experience. Also, just in terms of like, I think that he's going to be a great battle leader, but not a solely bloodthirsty battle leader like Daemon. I think he'll have like the end game in mind, and that you have to use politics as well. So yeah, that's why I think he's the most valuable player at this point.
Yeah, these are the people you have to rule over in the end, right? In the end, these are the people you're trying to rule. So you can't have these people hating you and not wanting you to rule after them. You can't just go nuts. We've seen that, at the end of Game of Thrones with Dany, right? This is what happens when you go nuts. Yeah. No one respected you. No one wanted her there. No matter what, it would never work. Now, you can debate whether that's going to happen in the books. So that's the way it happened in the show. So that's all we can do is go by what happened in the show.
Tony, we got a few more voicemails. This is from area code 804.
Hey, it's Tamara in Richmond. I'm so glad to see you guys on tonight. I have a question that may be spoilery. If you don't want to answer it, text me or something, but I really don't understand. Okay, so my question is, with Lucerys being dearly departed, and that leaves the Valyrian girls because of whatever's going to happen in Winterfell with Jace, without any betrothals, right? So what happens with the support of Driftmark, all of its people, and with those girls? Like, are they going to now support the Greens, or can they at this point just not support anyone? I'm really confused on how this is going to play out. And no, I haven't read the books. Let me know, please. Thank you.
I think we can answer this because it gets dealt with in the episode, in the sense that in that conversation that Corlys has with Rhaenys basically says, I've been watching Rhaenyra. She's the only one. She's the smartest person for this. She isn't bloodthirsty. Because Corlys says initially, to your question, let's take our grandkids, let's take everybody and peace out. Go hang out at Driftmark. Let all these Targaryens handle this crap. We're gonna be Switzerland in this whole situation. We're gonna stay out of this whole situation. And Rhaenys is like, no. They'll come after our grandkids. And I've been watching Rhaenyra. She's doing everything I would do. Whether that's the way the judge thinks, she's like, Rhaenyra's doing everything I would do. She's the smartest person for this job. And she convinces Corlys in that moment to give Rhaenyra their full support. So by this point, I don't know who the granddaughter is going to be betrothed to. Tony and Bridge can talk about that a little bit if it's spoilery or something. I'm not sure it plays too much into the story. Maybe it does. But I do think Driftmark is 100% behind Team Black.
Yeah, they have to be. So if Driftmark is ruled by Corlys, it has nothing to do with anybody else in there. Whoever he backs, they back. He's the one who runs it. So it doesn't matter that Luke died. That has nothing to do with who they would go with. They're with the Team Black all the way. That's who they're rolling with. What up to Carla Way? She always comes in with great sayings. Now she says howdy. She comes out. Do they speak this way in Australia? Howdy, folks. I know I said howdy one time. I said howdy. What that says? I said howdy so. I didn't say howdy ho. I didn't say that. But
no, I think it was like howdy something like that. And we also have the amazing Santovia Major. Great to see Santovia in the live chat.
Great to see Santovia.
I
said
mess
the
it
name.
up
I
too.
messed the name up a couple of times myself, and I know how to say it. And
I
messed
do it
up.
differently every time, I think.
Sontavia Major is how I say. In terms of the question, the caller, it's like, first of all, Bela is still engaged to Jaseri, so they've still got that link there. More importantly, I think you were alluding to it, Phil. Like in the past, Corlys looked at those boys as his genuine grandsons because they were. They might not have been his blood, but they were his way to the throne, right? Now, Rhaenys, she actually pointed out to, like you said, Phil, she pointed out to Corlys, like, those boys' lives will be in danger. So there's been shown that there's love to those boys. They look at them as family. So really, I think the major takeaway is that now that Rhaena is not betrothed to Luke anymore, that's an opportunity to form another alliance, potentially.
Good day, Midas. Yeah, sorry.
There we go. That's Australian for you. All
There
right.
we go. Thank you, Mick. Do what we want. We want Mick Dundee. That's all us Americans know about Australia. We know.
I don't know anything else. Good day, matey.
Yeah, we know Paul Hogan. We know that's not a knife. This is a knife.
That's a knife.
That's a knife. That's not a knife.
Well, I know Costa Zoo too. I know
and
all the boxers in Australia.
I know some rock bands.
And Cambosis dude just got his ass whooped by Devin Haney. I know boxers and everything else, but that's all. I'm not really familiar with anything else. But and the beautiful women that I always see her in the pictures with Carl Way. I'm coming to Australia to meet all her friends. We already got that planned.
Yeah, Tony and I have been planning that vacation for a while.
Coming out there, boy. We're coming out there.
Yo, real quick before you do this,
grew up too.
Yeah, real quick before the super chat, I just want to say, so I've gone on the record saying like Bela is one of my favorite characters in the story, so I love her. She's awesome, but the Rhaena actress, like she's so cute. She's always smiling, and she's like she just comes across as like the kindest person in this story so far.
Such positive energy. I agree,
Yeah.
Bridge. And we said, sorry, off topic, but Tony, are you going to cover the 1899 show on Netflix from the creators of Dark?
Yes, I will. 100%.
Perfect.
It's not out yet. That's the one with Bass Reeves, I do believe.
I'm not covering it, but I did watch a couple of episodes of the Apple TV show with Jax Teller on with him on the run and stuff. It's a pretty good show. It's not something I necessarily would cover. Maybe I can talk about a whole season of it later, but if people are missing your Jax Teller, you can see Jax Teller on the run. It's another great another good Apple Plus series, which is going to soon have the new Vince Gilligan series and the best show still on TV as of right now anyways, Severance, one of the two. So yeah, check out that if you haven't checked it out already. Anyways, Tony, we got area code 202. Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy. He was also in the show. Well, he was in a bunch of stuff. He was in the sequel to Freaks and Geeks, the comedy series. I'm blanking on Undeclared. He was in Undeclared as well.
Antoine, thank you for the super chat. It says check out my messages. A message is that what?
Yeah, he's got a voicemail.
Right.
He's
yeah. We'll get to you, bro. But thank you for the donation. We got you. I promise you that.
We'll always play your voicemails, our friend Antoine. Area code 202.
Hey, Tony, Bridge, Phil. I got a question about the song, that Damon song, the Vermithor. Does that translation have any kind of foreshadowing in it? Or does that have any kind of meaning up to what has happened in the past season?
Is there a translation to it?
What was that?
Is there a translation to it? I didn't look up the Valyrian. I don't speak Valyrian.
I thought it was something that you're gonna have a rider or something.
Yeah, you're gonna have a rider soon, is what I think it was. But
Is that just you guessing, or did you?
That's
translate
me going by. I saw in a comment. I'm not fact checking, but I saw somebody say that in a comment section on like a with people talking and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's what he said, but I did not fact check that, so I don't want to declare it as fact right now. But I heard that he was saying something along the lines of you will have a rider soon.
I'm gonna just be a Debbie Downer for a second. I think that the reason they had that scene is you show Vermithor, the second biggest dragon in the dance, because they want to remind viewers who haven't read the books that there are other dragons out there, even though they mentioned them earlier in the episode. Like literally show us one of the other dragons, show us the next biggest dragon. And I think they just wanted to give Daemon some more screen time. I'm not sure how big a
I don't know if it was really needed to show that scene. In all honesty, it didn't really. I thought you could have put that time somewhere else.
Yeah, Tony,
that it didn't do anything for that episode. It didn't mean anything for that episode. You could have put that time only thing it did was when Corlys asked, "Where's Daemon?" Oh, he's out doing something else. That was it. besides that, it doesn't do anything, and in the actual story itself, it doesn't do anything for that. So there was really no need for that right then. I don't know why they would show that scene. They could have showed something else better to me. They could have used the time better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even with another Damon scene, there's been several moments where they've cut stuff from Damon throughout the season, whether it be his reaction to when after his wife dies, embracing his kids. So if they wanted to put another Damon scene in, I'm sure there's some Damon stuff from this episode on the cutting room floor. They seem to have a lot of they shoot a lot of extra Matt Smith stuff and then keep taking it out of the episodes because they're like, we can't have this turn into the Matt Smith show. We can't put so much stuff. Some people saying Matt Smith's singing was sexy as hell, says Emily Christina, and people saying like the singing up. So yeah.
The Imagination Realm posted something which looks like the translation. I'm guessing the Imagination Realm knows for a fact that these are the words.
We don't know. Imaginary Realm knows this.
I'm taking it.
I trust the Imagination.
Yeah, all right,
we're taking it as empirical evidence.
We're gonna put it up there. This is what I just play with your imagination, Mary. But it says, with blood magic, with words of flame, with clear eyes to blind the three, to you I sing, as one we gather, and with 3 heads we shall fly as we are destined, beautifully, freely.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. I don't know if that's.
If Imagination Realm made that shit up, he did a great job.
He's the poet laureate of the come on. I know there was a second half of that too. Oh, and with blood magic, with words of flame, with clear eyes to bind the 3, to you I sing, in one we gather, with 3 heads we shall fly, as we're destined, beautifully, freely.
Tone literally just said that, dude.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh no, there's 2. Then it's right above there. Sorry, fire breathing winged leader, but 2 head to sing from my voice. The fires have spoken and the price has been paid.
Now, this one says
there was 2 lines.
It says Teflon, you're tripping. As far as the show goes, Damon was going to the hood to get back up. It makes complete, sense given the fight that's come. So he's going to the hood to get some backup. There's no need for it at that particular time because did he come back with the dragon? Did he come back flying on the dragon's back? Nope. Right. So if I'm gonna send a kite to somebody, right, and I got to get somebody taken care of, it gets taken care of right then. He went out there, sung a song, and came back with nothing. They didn't no need for him to sing that damn song at this particular time. What's the sense of him singing the song? We didn't have to see that shit. They could have did that next season. They could have put that in next episode. Now the kid is dead. Now think about it. Let's put it like this. If they put it in next season 1, now the war is actually starting. Now he actually does need the dragon because the war is starting. So now it would make more sense for him to go out there singing that goddamn song. Right? More than him going out there right now prepping the dragon.
Prepping the dragon.
Dragon fluffer?
Fluffing, yeah. You use the fluffer.
Is that what he's doing out there?
He's fluffing that dragon for another person. Yeah, this is area code 630.
Hello, everybody. Tony, Phil, and Bridge, I think. I have something to say to all of you guys. I think
that sounds scary. Something to say to all of us.
I think Tony was spot on about Damon. He was the one that was very consistent with saying that basically Damon loves Damon because, man, he had some good moments where we were rooting for him, but my goodness, the disappointment. Also with Damon, he gave me from The Walking Dead, Daryl from The Walking Dead vibe. I was really hoping that he turned into a good guy with a bad attitude, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case at all. And Allison, I really dislike her even more now. I think her and her children are trash. Helena, she's all right. She's a little touched, but I just feel like Rhaenyra, she raised her kid, like she got her wild side out and she raised better kids. But I feel like this is a documentary of like where no one wins. At first, like I am Team Black, but I don't think anybody's gonna win, and that's the tragedy of Game of Thrones. I mean, I'm still when Ned died in season 1 of Game of Thrones, I was shook, and I was messed up for a few years after that because I was rooting for him. So I don't have the expectation that we're going to see exactly what we want to see. And at some point, we're just going to be grasping for straws that can anybody get anything. That's all I have to say, guys. You're doing a great job. I love watching it with you. I wish I could have watched Game of Thrones with you guys. All right, bye.
Yeah, first off, Rick Miles, that quote was amazing. Number one debate, Miles, me. But besides that, everything else was said was great too.
You didn't hear anything else. Everything else was just like, this is the greatest call of all time.
Everything. What happened? And something's going on with AK or something inside the chat that I'm saying.
Oh no, what's up?
What tinfoil is AK talking about?
It's spoilery. I wouldn't say.
Is it spoilery? She's doing spoiled stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Then we can't talk about it. Sorry, AK.
I saw something.
Can't do any spoilers over here, AK girl. You know we can't. We're not doing spoilers right now at this particular time.
And
it relates to Nettles. It's Nettles stuff.
Yeah, that's a little spoilery, man. She ain't even in the show yet.
This is
for the record. Nettles is one of my top 3 favorite women in the entire series. I love her. She's so cool.
And yes, Santavia Majors answering Amanda's question. And Joe and I will be on this Sunday talking about The Walking Disaster, and we will get Joe's thoughts on the season as a whole as well.
Does Nettles? I want to say this real quick. Does Nettles' character have the same impact? Well, no spoilers, Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have Black Valyrians, is it the same impact?
Yeah, it definitely muddies the waters. You know what I mean? And that's actually a funny play on words. And Sheep Stealer is described as like mud brown. Oh, crap. There we go. Slip.
That's all right. Then keep going.
That was a bad slip. I plead the fifth.
No,
I see.
Brown, fine. But you know what I'm saying? Like before,
100%,
she was a special character because she was one of the only African American characters that we got to see.
Yeah.
Now that we have a whole house of Black characters, is it going to mean the same?
I mean, like I said, it muddies the waters. It's like theory making based off the books, but I can't get too into it on this stream. We should do a spoiler stream where we can go hardcore.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that stuff later.
This is area code 740.
Hi, Tony, Phil, and Bridge. My name is Emily. I logged into the live stream, the live chat tonight a little bit late, so I'm not sure if you guys have talked about this or not. And if you have, feel free to skip over my voicemail. That's totally fine.
We're not going to skip over your voicemail.
Never.
But my question for you is, I've been reading Fire and Blood as the season has been airing, and after the episode on Sunday, I finished the chapter. I stayed up late reading the chapter where Luke dies, and I thought it was really funny and interesting why the writers left out the line where the Baratheon daughter says to Aemond, was it one of your eyes that he took or one of your balls? And I thought that was really, really funny, and I was just kind of wondering why the writers left that out. It seems like it would have given the audience a little bit more reasoning as to why Aemond took off for Luke right then. That it might have given the scenes just a little bit more fluidity in that way. And I just wanted to see what your guys' thoughts are on that. And I just want to say I love listening to your guys' live stream, and hope you have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to address this, and I'm going to go into the chat, and I'm going to address something that's going on in the chat real quick. We did talk about that a little bit earlier. Thank you very much. I think they really wanted to go with it was an accident. And if they would have done that and gave him a reason, it would not have looked as so much of an accident then. So it would have made it look like he did it on purpose. And the writers really wanted to go with he didn't mean for this to happen. And that's why they left that whole scene out. Now, as for everything else that is inside of dealing with the Nettles situation, in the books, it clearly says And I'm going to say, so Nettles is a character that will show up eventually. Won't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but she was in the book. She's the only black character that we see. And I didn't like it, the fact that she's described as to have a dragon, and this dragon is called Ugly Mud Brown. And it was described as the ugliest dragon of them all. And I used to always complain, like, why the one black chick who gets a dragon got to have the ugliest ass dragon? That's fucked up, right? And they would describe in the book, the dragon's described as mud brown. That's book talk.
Mhm.
That's not anything else. And when you hear anyone on this panel who has said that, they're just quoting the book. They're not saying that. So no one should be offended by what we
I could see how people would misinterpret that. I had to I tangented real quick because I started getting into spoiler territory. But yeah, that's literally words from the book about something.
Yeah, that's all from the book. So I didn't want to go into it and say that's a little spoiler. I'm not spoiling anything, what's going to happen with them, but I just don't want anyone to feel any certain way. All right. And, I understand. And people saying I'm dark skinned. I'm dark skinned. I may not be dark skinned to my peoples. I know I'm not, but I love all my peoples, dark skin and everything in between. So, you know what I'm saying? So don't ever think I was number one shouting for years that I thought it was fucked up that the black chick is described as the ugliest dragon, and said, if they show him on the show, that better not be no ugly fucking dragon. It better not be.
I've heard you say that on streams before.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, it never impacted me. I guess I just love her so much, and I was like, I don't know, whatever happens in her life, I'm behind it. I love her.
I ain't no damn Redbone, motherfucker.
Someone in the chat said she would be your Nettles, Bridge. I don't know who said that, but someone said that. If you scroll up a little bit. This is from
my sister Redbone. I'm not Redbone. I'm more Caramel.
This is from Antoine Thomas.
All right, how you doing today, y'all two? But check this out. I got George R.R. Martin's new book, The Rise of the Dragon. It's in this illustrated history of the Targaryen dynasty. I checked it out. It's the same size book as The World of Ice and Fire. And I tell you the truth, this book is kicking off. But I'm a little like, what the hell? Season 2 of House of the Dragon is going to be in 2024. What's up with that? They're making us wait for a whole damn 2 years. People ain't going to wait too long. We got answers. I mean, we got war here. We got a damn war here. But let me know what's up.
What the fuck's up?
Shout out to Tony Teflon stuff and T-Black and everything. But give me a holler. What the hell is going on?
I mean, I know let's wait as long till it's awesome, but is 2024 too far? Are we going too far with these TV series taking this long for new seasons?
This is standard now.
It is
right?
standard now.
It is now.
It's actually not that long.
This is standard. 2 years is standard. I mean, this is the way. Unless you're a sitcom show, that's the only yearly
or a reality show. Sitcom or
reality show or straight sitcom shows. But any show with special effects or green screen or anything like that, it's 2 years. It's going to take almost a year. Now, let me break it down to people who haven't really edited videos. I edit videos. Phil does once in a while. Bridge edits videos. All right, Bridge, a lot of your videos are about, let's say, 8 to 10 minutes long. All right. How long did it take you to edit that 10-minute video on average?
Well, 12 to 16 hours.
So here we go. 10 minutes, 16 hours of 10 minutes of editing. So you have to imagine that for a whole show, all these episodes and all these special effects that they're doing a lot color correction and everything else and all this stuff that they have to do. It takes a long time, almost a full year to do all the effects for these things. So 2 years, they can knock out the dialogue and do all that. That's fast. They can do that in a couple of months. They can do that, shoot that whole thing in a couple of months. Dialogue, or the actors do that thing, boom, boom. It's the post. Post takes so long now, and this is where we're at. And that's just the bottom line. So it sucks, but that's just the way it's going to be. That's just what it is, man. It's par for the course. Now, as for the new book, that came out. I know Iratat. Iratat's one of us, right? Iratat was in the chat. He used to be in my chat. Don't come over here no more. I don't know why. But he used to be in my chat. He used to all the time. He would draw pictures for the people in the fandom. He was a regular guy just like us. And George R. R. Martin must have seen his work and hired him to do a lot of the drawing. He did the cover of this book, and he did a lot of the drawings inside the book. So shout out to Iratat 100% because he's one of us who did good and made it. Was just a fan and drew all these pictures. Now he was supposed to draw me as a White Walker, and he never did. And I called him on it. And maybe that's why he doesn't come around anymore.
Yeah, that's why.
But,
that's why.
You know what I mean? I did call him on it because he was drawing everybody else. That motherfucker didn't draw me. You know what I mean? So I give a shout out to Iratat 100% for doing good and everything else. Got nothing but love for that dude. But I myself, I'm not going to purchase this book.
I'll tell you what it is, whether it's for you or not. So, because I did it yesterday, it's a really short book. There's a couple little data points, but really it's no new information. It's like if you go to Audible, it's an 8-hour audiobook versus Fire and Blood is 26 hours. So it's just a very condensed version of Fire and Blood. The real benefit of getting this book is that there's 180 new pictures.
Fritz Mods, never.
So we'll go to a voicemail. Area code 302.
Hey guys, this is Chris, the Baker Woodmill. Just want to comment that Damon literally choked Rhaenyra and said, "This is war. Get with it. You need to get your head in the game." And she still sent her son.
I love how he sounded like Vince Lombardi there. Get your head in the game.
Out there, and one of them got clipped. So she needs to start listening to him more, and they'd be better off with what's going on. And it just, she finally got it at the end when her son died. So go Damon.
So what do you guys think? This is a pro Damon. Tony, go.
Yeah, he's wrong. Look, who's his name? The guy?
Chris.
Listen, Chris, love you that you're watching the show and everything. You're 100% wrong. There's no. I hear what you're saying, and it looks like you're right because listen, if you would have did this, you would have did these things. Does that mean that your son would not have died? If he would have killed Otto Hightower on that bridge right then, does that mean Luke would not have died? I think Luke's life would have been more at risk because they would have been on site then, right? Because now it's on site, right? Now you kill Luke, it's on site. For whatever any one of y'all sees on site, you got to get it, right? So if they would have killed Otto before that, it would have already been on site. So Luke would have already got because once he sees him, so he here really you killed Otto, done deal. It would have been a wrap. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying. I truly do. And I'm a man of action myself. You know what I'm saying? But in this situation, she did the right call of trying to get it done without fighting.
Absolutely.
She did make the right call.
It's family.
100%. Now it's gonna look like Damon could be like, so yeah, I told you we should have killed him. And this could be what ruins her in the end. Because now she's not going to be driven by thought. She's going to be driven by vengeance. And once you're driven by vengeance, you're not truly thinking of what's best.
Yeah.
Yep. And Damon also gets driven by insecurity. A lot in that scene was him being like that Viserys never trusted him enough. I mean, like Damon is a complicated person, but definitely also has a lot of his own insecurities, being that second brother and being passed over twice essentially for the position that somewhere in his mind he thinks he's the best in line to rule. Even if he doesn't want to deal with everything that has to do with ruling, he thinks his way is the best way.
Oh, and let me say this. They're not out yet, but I purchased, 10 Cyrax Funko Pops. 10 of them.
Fandom D Saint just showed back up in the chat. He's like, wait,
and I'm gonna give them I'm gonna give them all away. Every one of them. You can't get them right now. And they're all sold out everywhere. Even if you can't charge you to even pre-order one, they're all done. I'm gonna do a live stream and I'm gonna give every one of them away to all you people. Oh yeah, I bought them just for y'all.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I wasn't kidding. Yeah, he just popped back in. He's like, wait, what?
yeah.
This year, that's great.
I'm gonna give you all. I'm gonna give all of them away. I promise you, all 10 of them, all 10 of these Funko Pops. Too. I got them all. It's already done. They should be coming to me. I think in a week and a half or something, something like that. But they should be here soon. And as soon as I get them, we'll start doing trivia and getting knocking them off for you guys. And it will be House of the Dragon TV show trivia, something that happened on the show, so everyone will have a chance to actually. All right, so this is for a way to say thank you, and yes, you have to be a subscriber to win. So it's saying so thank you to everybody out there. All right, just for supporting the channel and everything else.
Speaking of a long-time listener, Tony, this is our good friend, Miss Duncan Natal, I believe.
Hi, friends. It's CC. Hey, I just really wanted to say thank you. I think everybody here, our lovely hosts, and the chat included, I think we had more fun than the average person watching this show. First of all, I had the pleasure to meet Tony and Phil, and I know Kev a little bit. And I just wanted to say that you guys are really, really lovely people. And I know that you have a life and things to do, and you donate your time. And whether YouTube takes care of you or not, you always bring the same energy here. You basically are the Vander man that keeps us together during the off season, like if it was sport. But also, we basically join the chats once or twice a week, and it is the brotherhood and the sisterhood and the people that we have met that just makes this show and this fandom so much more enjoyable than the average person that just tuned in last week and watched all 10 episodes on one sitting. I just had the best time. Last couple of years that I've been around you guys have been awesome, and I wouldn't change it for a thing. So thank you so much. From me, my family.
Wrap it up.
I think I speak for everyone in the chat to say that.
Kev.
Y'all the best.
I love when it's someone Kev really knows well, because he's like, get her off.
I love CC. We love you, CC. It was great to meet you and everything else. I highlighted this comment because yes, she was supposed to thumb wrestle the Don Tony Teflon, and she backed up. She didn't want any part of it. Yeah. She backed down, you know, and that's just what it is and everything else. Someone else is saying, but we love you, CC. And it's people like you that makes this community a great spot. People are saying for me to show the chair. They haven't got a chance to see the chair. All right, here we go. Real quick.
Oh. Ooh. And to be clear, she's one of my best friends. So that's why I said that.
There's the chair. Let me spin it around so you can see the back of it.
I would love that if it was like Tessarian, a blue dragon. That'd be badass.
I want a Lannister one.
They have a Lannister one.
Yeah, I think I might get one at some point. Fritz Mod with the Thug Mug cheers, 420, another 420 donation. Thank you so much, Fritz.
Thank you. I would be drinking, but I'm sick, so I can't do it.
We got, I believe, another message from Marcus. Let's this is area code 404.
Hey guys, it's Marcus again calling in. I also wanted to address the painted table that everybody was standing around. I thought that was just so neat, and I really wish that in Game of Thrones that Daenerys could have had that too. Just because it was just so cool. But
before we get into the second half of the question, it's the same table? They just didn't know they could add a lot.
They didn't know how to light it. They didn't know how to light it. That's the same table that Stannis fucked Melisandre on.
Yeah.
They just didn't know how to activate it, essentially.
They didn't know, yeah. So they didn't know how to plug in the light bright set.
Light bright.
Yeah, one of my friends, speaking offline, said that she didn't like it. I thought it was pretty gnarly. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was really nice. I liked it. I know people saying that they want a table like that, but I couldn't take it because there'd be no way for me to show it. If they had the flat table and they made like some type of like light box.
You're joking about it like a light bright setup where you could turn your table into something that looks like it and it simulates the look of that, like something you just lay down on it and you just with Christmas lights. With
I know someone who could make it, like who make it out of wood. I know a wood guy who could definitely do that shit over.
But who wants a table? Who wants a table with holes in it though? It seems like a dumb table.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dropping food crumbs in there all every night.
It's
It
got
looks
holes
pretty,
in
but
it, shit like the remote falls
Shadow
between it.
babies. Yeah, shadow
like your
babies.
cups would always be like falling over the edge and then spilling everywhere, and then not
I'm
just
like,
spilling on the
oh
table,
my
but
gosh.
on the floor.
People like put glass over it, Bridge. What sense is that?
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Okay, so let me play the rest of Marcus's message. Sorry, Marcus.
I think. Do you all? Here's my question. Do you think that when the fire was illuminating the painted table, do you think that was maybe symbolic in a way? Because Rhaenyra was saying that wherever the dragon spies, the realm burns, and we've had so much, foreshadowing, with Rhaenys saying that men would rather put the realm to the torch than to see a woman ascend the Iron Throne, and just all these other nuances with it. And so I don't think the painted table is a coincidence. And so I just wanted to get y'all's thoughts on it because I thought it was a really cool thing, but it also got me thinking like maybe this could be, used as a metaphor, So just wanted to hear y'all's thoughts. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Yeah. People talk real quick before I think people are talking about Melisandre stands broke the tailor while bumping uglies. Listen, Melisandre, it might be old, but it was wet because he stroked it 4 times and blew up in it. It was
And
over.
that's what in Crow Black King says, God damn, that's right. Stannis smashed old girl on that joint.
He did, but she's got the wop because he only gave her 4 strokes and it was over. She only lasted 4. That was it. It was done. Woo, woo, woo. And he was laid out. That was it. Soul
Dude, that woman was something. She was smoking.
She was.
Literally.
She could come put leeches on me anytime she wants. I'm there for it. I'm there for it. So as for the table itself being a metaphor for what's going to happen to the realm, that lights up. I think I like that. I think that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could easily see it that the world's going to be on fire once the dragons go at war. So 100%, I think that's a great observation.
Yeah, I started just thinking about Melisandre and naked. Another thing I'll just throw in from the books it's pretty cool, and it's interesting also in terms of Aegon the Conqueror and like when did he decide? Like when did he have the dream, and when did he decide to conquer? Because one thing they point out is that his painted table, like when he was living there, he's the 5th or 6th generation Targaryen living on Dragonstone. So it was 112 or 114 years after the Doom of Valyria. When he created that painted table, he did not create it with 7 kingdoms. So it's like, did he already at that point know that he wanted a unified realm at that point?
This is area code 868.
Phil, that narration you do 1,000 days of it. I mean, that shit is bullshit. Stop doing that. Yo, listen.
Okay, I'll stop doing it.
Aemon Targaryen is the baddest motherfucker ever to grace TV film ever.
This is
I have
KP.
a full black. I'm black in skin.
I know this voice. This is damn KP talking.
Is it
this
KP?
shit.
What did he say about
I
Aemon?
know his goddamn voice. This is KP talking this shit, right? He may not be in the chat, goddamn it. But I know KP when I hear KP. No, play KP. He trying to hide out in the chat. But I know his goddamn voice.
I saw him earlier tonight in the chat, I think.
Yeah, I know KP's voice. I know this is him. I know it's you. Go ahead, play this. Let's go.
But my God, that motherfucker is bad. Even though, he wasn't he told his mean to kill him. Like, yo, at the end of the day, he wasn't sad about him dying. But next season, though, what I want to see, and I think we need to have a discussion was, what do you want to see in season 2? I want to see the motherfucking dragon feeds. I want to see Hugh the Hammer. Who is going to claim Vermithor? Who's going to claim Quicksilver? Oh, and I certainly want to see death.
Okay, the end of this is a little bit of a spoiler, so I'm gonna cut him off here. But
Yeah, I know what he wants to see. I know what
he wants. I want to see that same thing you just said there. You were getting ready to say there at the end, KP. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, but listen, I know KP is a Daemon apologist, and there's a bunch of y'all out there, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. If y'all want to cheer for a man who beats his wife's head in with a brick, who's willing to choke his pregnant wife who just miscarried his baby, go ahead and cheer for him. I'm not telling you not to.
Tony,
but these are facts that about the man. That's just who he is.
KP has a rebuttal to that.
Oh, and by the way, I want a goddamn Cyrax Funko Pop, or whichever Funko Pop you have. I want a Cyrax, I want a Vega, and I want a Sunfire. Oh my god, I can't wait to see Sunfire. I'm addicted to this goddamn TV show, bro.
You will have a chance to win it, just like everybody else will have a chance to win them. Hopefully, I get them by next week, and if I do, then we'll start giving them away then. But I got 10 of them. I got 10. I bought 10 of those bastards. And I tried to go back and buy more, and they were like sold out, can't find them, can't get them.
And in response to Damon Apologist, we have this message right here.
Damon is trash. Let's talk about that. Everybody was on Damon saying he's a good guy. Absolute garbage. Thanks.
Wait,
That's it.
I just don't, Phil, do you see like a transcription of this before you listen to them?
Yeah, sometimes it will translate it. Sometimes it doesn't do a great translation, so I can sometimes see what someone's going to say ahead of time.
No, that's pretty awesome. You're really good at this. Thanks.
It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes I miss things. I miss things, but yeah, this was let's play this one again. So
Damon is trash.
okay, we just have to sound. We have to sound cap that.
Yeah,
one.
we got to cut that. This cut, Damon is trash. Let's keep that cut. We'll keep that cut and keep playing
in the bin. But yeah, I mean, so it's interesting that the character of Damon is definitely putting people in two extremes. I mean, there's people that support Damon but aren't apologists with it. They accept him for who he is and still enjoy the character. But he is, as Bridge put it, he's not a good dude.
He's a narcissist.
Yeah.
And you can only be in love with yourself if you're a narcissist, and everything he does is for himself. He doesn't do anything unless it benefits him. And that's it. He had, it's just like in Avengers, the first Avengers movies, when Tony says to Tony Stark, you're not the type of person to lay down like someone else cross the goal line on your back. That's Damon. Damon's not the type of person who's willing to do that. If it doesn't benefit him, he's not about it.
And Cull says Damon abused his wife. I'll take that a step further. He killed his wife.
Yeah.
Yes, he did abuse his wife, which is fucking horrible. He also murdered one. So what type of person will abuse somebody? A murderer. So yeah. And again, I enjoy him as a character, and I know don't hunt me down and kill me gray area.
But he purposely, as a grown-ass man. And let me tell you something about when you're being a grown-ass man. When you're a grown man, it's easy to pull a little girl, right? It's easy to pull a girl who's younger than you. You got your own car. You got your own place. They're still living with their parents. They got a little room. They come to your house. Oh, I can make as much noise as I want when I'm fucking. I like that. I'm nice. But when you try to get someone your own age, you gotta have more than dick when you come. They already got that shit too. Now, what else do you offer? So, as a grown-ass man, Damon goes and he takes his niece out, makes out with her in front of everyone with the sole intention that no one will want to marry her. I ain't doing it because I love her. I'm doing it because I don't want no one. I want to dissoil her and make her so bad that you are forced to marry her to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love her? No, because this is my only way to get to the Iron Throne.
Yeah, because I've soiled her I've soiled her reputation for everyone, and I'm the only one.
Anyone who has any respect ain't gonna marry her. That's who Damon is. Now
you'll have to be a Lannister then.
I'm just saying. I'm not telling you not to root for the guy, but this is the truth. So let's see him for what he is. Like we see everybody else for what they are. We got to see him for what he is too. That's just what it is.
And this is from
real quick, but like I always say, the most important step is the next step. And it's like ultimately he's done bad things. Everyone or a lot of people have done bad things, but he doesn't make just bad decisions going forward. There's going to be good and bad things. Things to love and hate about him and love and hate about everyone going forward. And I don't completely buy that he's a narcissist. I do agree that like he does things for himself at the expense of others, and he has done that many times in the past. He'll probably do it in the future. But I do think that he's done things for other people in the past, and he will in the future as well. But yeah, there's no excuse for the choking though. Like I talked offline with one of my friends who like joked about like, ooh, that was sexy because choking in can be sexy or whatever. He actually did grab her face earlier when they had more like romantic type situations or erotic. Yeah, but that was bad news. That was
Yeah, it
not
was
cool.
bad.
Like, even me, who I say he's my favorite character, but I'm like, but I don't like him as a human. But even me seeing that, I was like, oh, it felt worse than him killing his wife for some reason.
Yeah, because you didn't care about his wife, right?
Exactly.
So, but you cared about this. And Carla Way, hey,
There you go.
says the only token I'm down with is the kind that comes with safe. But what kind of safe word is there if you're being choked? There's no word. It's got to be a safe tap.
It's a tap. It's 3 tap. It's the tap out. It's the thump thump thump.
You're not actually, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I didn't think you're actually supposed to choke the person. It's more about just like the position and the
It
threat.
depends it depends the person, and it depends what they're into, but it wasn't that kind of thing. Vanessa says it did feel worse because you're led to believe he loved her. Someone joked in the live chat that the rock to the head was it was a mercy for a quadriplegic. He did her no, that's a big David apology moment. No. Antoine, we got a super chat donation, I believe. From JTS. Now that I think about it, I think he choked her because Jace pulled rank on him, and that was the last straw. He's trash, though, says J.
There's no reason for him. Let me say that to my man. I see Mandrell in the chat and everything else. You know what I mean? And my man KP, you know I love you. Hey, I got love for you, my brother. You know what I mean? I see him in the chat and everybody else out there and stuff like that. Carla Way says she'll be right back. So you got all that talking. Now she's gonna go find her husband.
Yep, the luckiest guy in the room. Oh my goodness.
He's like, oh my god, all that talk about choking, hubby. Hey, how we say that in Australia talk? How would we say it? Can we say that? How we say, man, you don't call your husband your mate. Is there some word that they have over there in Australia? That they like babe in Australia? Or they just say babe? Or they got their own words. They would have to have their
from
own word,
Australian Love Island, which I do watch sometimes, or Temptation Island. Antoine Thomas says, I have to point out that maybe George R. R. Martin will drop Winds of Winter next year, which is why season 2 is going to be put on hold because of hope for another book coming. George should do like Star Wars on Disney Plus and come out with a series every year, like Blackfire Rebellion, come out with an illustrated history kind of series, animated type stuff. Would you like to see HBO do content like that, like do some narrated history, get Charles Dance to narrate a Lannister history with some artwork and stuff to bridge the gap for a couple of years, do things like that to fill series like they used to do in the DVD commentaries or something?
Right, so let's talk about this because this news just came out on this too. We don't know if it's 100%, but it seems that a lot of the prequel shows were canceled.
Yes.
All right. So we lost a lot of prequel shows. I think the only ones that's up right now that's left is the Sea Snake one and
Duncan Egg.
And Duncan Egg.
And somebody in the live chat, I can't confirm this, but somebody said Talking Thrones said that Sea Snake was canceled too, but I can't confirm that. If whoever said that in the live chat, if you're still here.
Yeah, no, I think George R. R. Martin said specifically the Sea Snake one was still on.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
I think that's what he said. So those are the two. That's it. Everything else is gone. Nymeria gone, all that stuff. Now I told you that every week we came here and the pre-show and I brought you the numbers, right? I showed you the numbers of every week on every show, and I showed you exactly how many people.
Oh, it was Lady Starfall. Lady Starfall says Corliss was canceled too, but we don't know that yet. We're holding your hope.
So these the reason why I kept showing you these things is because I'm telling you, you have to start looking at these things. We're fans and we want these things, but you got to start looking at it as people who aren't fans of the show and who run these companies and what they're going to look at.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And this is just what it is. You know what I mean? Corley's from what it has not been canceled from what I know here. We'll see what it is. You know what I mean? But I will say this. The thing that if Corliss is canceled, the thing that we have in common with the shows that were canceled to the one that wasn't is one was written by George R. R. Martin, Duncan Egg, and there's stuff that they can go on. Every other one, people were making up on the fly.
Yep.
Right? So it just seems that when people make it up on the fly, these guys in HBO aren't truly interested. Remember, this is a whole new regime that's in HBO. They're not the same people who okayed all this stuff. And it's a whole new Discovery people who took it over. And this is the same guy who they had a Batwoman movie done, special effects and everything completed, and he shelved it and wouldn't allow it to come out.
Now, Tony, I got to ask because I saw it. A couple of people asking in the chat. What about Snow? Any word on?
No, Snow is still a go. They did not do anything about.
Oh, ho, ho.
They also they said they did announce that Samuel, Tarly, and Brienne would be in Snow.
Will be in Snow. Okay.
Yeah,
Brent,
they would be on. They would be in it.
Will Drogon be in Snow?
I would think you would have to put Drogon in it too. I would think you would have to put him in there.
I think I'm starting to think that it just ultimately depends on how successful this show is. I'm starting to think that you could just keep going after season 4, rename it. It's a different section and just keep going. We're going
They'll keep the same name. They'll call the House of the Dragon. It'll just be House of the Dragon, Aegon's Conquest.
Yeah.
House of the Dragon, Mago of the Crew. You know what I mean? They'll just do. I think that's
like
what
American Horror Story does, like with a new subtitle every year, and do like House of the Dragon.
But it would still be House of the Dragon. It would be the same thing.
Here we go for a question.
Wait, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Kimberly Dupree. I'm with you. Like, don't get me wrong. If Jon Snow show comes out, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm probably going to love it. But I think it's the dumbest idea for.
It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like the dumbest idea since over. Like, and I know people might like that, but it's like, oh, we're bringing that back. But I'll answer this question for Tony. 859 asks, hey, ask Tony, does he smoke or vape? No.
No, I don't do any of that. I don't smoke or vape. I don't do anything. Morgan Holmes, thank you for becoming a member. Back in the day, I smoked more weed than Bob Marley. Yeah. But when I got older, I stopped that.
You were at like the very beginning of your channel, like the first couple of videos in your channel, you were still in your smoking.
I'm high as hell. You can go look at if you go look at the first videos of my channel, you could look. I'm high as hell.
We did that once in an After Dark.
I was so skinny, and the whole thing you could tell. When I smoked weed, I would lose weight, right? I know everyone else gained weight in the world, but I would lose weight. So if you look at those videos, you'll see how skinny I was because I was smoking so much. I was just terrible smoking. I was like Dave Chappelle in Half Baked smoking like that. It was just nuts. That's why I stopped. I was like, that's too much. I can't do it anymore. And as soon as I stopped, they legalized it. It was like, that's some bullshit, man.
I know, dude. I remember running for the cops from a joint. We get a bunch more voicemails. This is from Jenna H.
Hi guys, I just wanted to shout out to poor Luke and just how brave he was, because personally I would have downshifted my dragon into reverse and left. I just feel like he even went in there just to deliver his message for his mom, and that's just so sweet and so brave. And I just wanted to shout out Luke. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.
Now
I would have took that message and rolled that shit on the floor and walked away.
Dude.
I'd be like, here you go. I gotta go. I'm back here.
And I bet he was sweet, but I bet he was also very sweet for Vhagar. I bet he tasted delicious. He was a very sweet boy. That's what Vhagar would say. He was like,
they could have smoked that scroll. Get that shit out of here. I would have been gone.
Otto looked like he was rolling a joint scroll earlier in the season.
Smoking scrolls and shit. What movie is that from? Smoking Scrolls. Anybody got it? Anybody in the chat got it? Smoking Scrolls. Someone said that in the movie. I know what movie it was. You don't know what that movie that is, Phil?
I don't think so.
You know. I know you know that. You've seen the movie.
Is it history? Is it History of the World?
Nope. What
are
y'all doing here? Smoking Scrolls and shit. Y'all here smoking?
Is it Cheech and Chong movie?
Nope. What is Cheech and Chong?
Someone says Half Baked in the live chat.
No,
someone says
Someone
asks Titanic.
No one's got it, really. Oh my God. No one's got it. Clerks, How High? No. That's these Smoking Scrolls. There's no scrolls in those movies.
Pineapple Express. That's why I was thinking History of the World.
No, I don't think any of you get it. It was in The Golden Child.
When Eddie walks into the temple and he goes, "Oh, you guys smoking scrolls in here?
Yeah, you smoking scrolls and shit here."
I got the knife. I'm so focused on I got the knife. I'm not remembering the rest of that.
Yeah, Smoking Scrolls, and Charles Dance was in that movie. For anyone else.
The Gravel Walker asks, "Are you guys going to be doing any After Darks during the long night?" I know it will come back eventually. We will.
Yes, we are doing After Darks. That's already a given. I talking to Anna about it. The Gray Area is agreed to be on them too and rock with us. Lamar will be back next week, rocking with me and us and Phil and all of us. Will be back next week doing that. That's already been taken care of. So Lamar's back in business, rocking with us.
And I know Smalls. I'm feeling very sad about myself that I didn't get that one.
I thought you would have got that though. I really
Yeah.
thought you would have got it.
Yeah, I'm not playing 100% right now. I'm not smoking enough scrolls myself. This is area code 868.
It's easy to listen to that intro that Phil has, and every time I hear it, it sounds a little bit better. So keep it up. Hot take that nobody is going to probably like, but Aegon the second Targaryen, survives 2 dragon crashes. I don't know, but you have to have some respect for that. He survives 2 dragon crashes. Nobody else even survived 1.
We're talking spoilers here, bro.
It is. It
Sorry
is.
KP,
we cannot do spoilers tonight, bro. We got to do a straight spoiler stream. We can't spoil stuff like that, man. We can't. I'm sorry, brother. We just can't. We got to keep going and everything else. So besides that one, but that's what it is. That was
Let's
too much.
just jump to the next one here.
Yeah, wait, real quick. So yeah, KP, this is a non-spoiler stream. We're going up to episode 10, season 1. But real quick, he did have a funny message. He wrote, Larry Strong is going to be tuned in for the After Dark.
Yeah, he definitely will be. I remember, I tell you, fucking Larry. So I was fucking Lauren Corners when I was on her stream. Go back if you watch when I'm there. I met her in Nashville when she came to Nashville. She put her foot right in my face. She took her shoe off and stuck her foot in my face. Like right here. She put it like right here. Was wiggling her toes in my face.
Quid pro toe, Tony. This is area code 773.
Suspects. It's just J2G here. Just want to get some clarification. So what are we saying here? Did Damon choke her because he knew about the prophecy and was surprised that she knew, or that he completely didn't know about the prophecy and was mad because she knew it, even though she didn't even really tell him anything really much at all? Can you explain that to me, please? What's up, Suspect?
No doubt about it. I would say that he did it because he didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's why he did it. Doesn't make it right. But I think that's what pushed him over the edge to choke her. Because after the first thing she says is, you didn't know. And that was it. You know what I mean? So he was upset that because now this is what they should have stressed a little bit more, because I don't know how Damon would know this, but as a show watcher, you should know this, that this was only passed down to people who were going to take the Iron Throne.
Yep.
Right? This was the king, whoever the king was, passed this down to the next person in line. So the fact that Damon never heard this mean that his brother never intended to pass the throne down to him. So that's why would give you the justification of why he would be mad. But they never said that Damon knew anything about this prophecy or anything else like that, unless his brother said, well, I have a prophecy, but I'll have to tell you later. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Remind me about, next time I see you, brother, I'll tell you about this prophecy, like Ned said to John. Next time I see you. But I kind of always assumed all season was a good sort of aha kind of moment for me. Like obviously not a good moment, but I kind of assumed Damon knew about it the whole time. So it was a little bit of a surprise for me seeing his reaction and not knowing. And yes, I do think whatever reason, whether it was him trying to show power, trying to just be an abusive fuck, whatever reason, I think what urged that on was feeling like his brother never really wanted him to be king, and his brother chose yet again, just looked over him.
I'm pretty sure, take this with a grain of salt, everyone listening, but I'm pretty sure on like the HBO podcast that they do, they had Ryan Condal for the episode 10 thing. He's one of the showrunners. And he said, so Damon finds out like, his brother's been killed. Now he's getting into war councils. All he's got in his mind is fight, 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 fire and blood. Then all of a sudden he finds out from Rhaenyra that there's this big secret been kept from him the whole time. So he's just in this crazy, I don't know if it's psychological, emotional, mental state, but he's in a state of fight. And then he hears that. So his reaction was to fight. And that's not to justify and say that what he did is right, but that his reaction is basically a result of the fact that all he's been thinking about is killing someone, and they hear something that upsets him, and she's the person in front of him. So she bore that because of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he did say that, when he heard that the king died, he said the king was my brother's king was slain.
Yeah.
He thinks that they killed him. So
Exactly.
his mindset is he didn't die in his sleep, that they killed him.
Yeah, and it's a good completion because we see him investigating that and looking like he was really suspicious when he was in the king's chambers, sniffing the tea, looking around, and the way he treated Alicent. I mean, not that, the hell with her in some ways, but the way he was going at her and like, oh yeah, I'm sure you're doing the best thing. He thinks this was a plot right from the beginning for the Hightowers to take over this situation. So he was thinking this from the beginning. I think that they were trying to kill the king, and he tried to tell the king from the beginning. And this is one of the biggest divides between the two brothers when because Daemon couldn't illustrate it in a proper way to say he was just like, Otto's a cunt. Like, you couldn't be like, no, he's a scheming cunt. No, you don't understand. This guy will usurp you. You have to keep me close. Family. There was a different way Daemon could have gone about that, but tact isn't his best virtue.
Yeah, I don't think we can say, I think he's meaning it as a joke that you get mad. I understand that people were allowed to beat their wives with a stick back. Listen, we can't say that just because of time makes it right.
No.
Things are still wrong. Even though you're allowed to do stuff, doesn't mean that it was right to do.
Exactly.
It's not justification for doing something. It was wrong is wrong.
Yeah, shitty behavior.
No matter what time period it is, even if everyone did it. I mean, when you talk about any type of slavery, yeah, everyone owned slave, but it still was wrong.
Yep.
Wrong is wrong, and that's it. And yes, and there were times in the 50s and 60s where you beat the shit out your wife, man, and the cops didn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times back there. I remember when I was young in the 80s, when I was young, and I would be in the back seat of my car. No one wore no seatbelts. My parents used to go out to my family's house and they drink. I'm talking drink, like they was drunk. And I'd be in the back seat and everyone would just jump in the car and everyone would drink and everyone would just drive all the time. And that's just the way it was. And that was in the 80s. That's just the way it was. You know what I mean? Until so many people died and then they made the DWI laws and everything else. But before they had those laws, people just did it. He just went around and no one had no damn cars. They didn't have no damn car seat.
I know it's not the 80s, but watch Mad Men, and like Don Draper and all his friends are driving down the street with booze and drinking and going crazy, and just to the violence thing too. 80s, grew up in the 80s and the late 70s, and Tony and I joke about it sometimes, but the Italian family, like the wooden spoon, I got beat with that wooden spoon. That was just partially, and my aunt would bang her my Italian aunt would bang her husband in the head with that sometimes when they got drunk on Sunday dinners, when they get into big fights, the big Italian Sunday dinner that we would have, and everyone would just get dead ass shit faced and beat the shit out of each other by the end and get into crazy fights. But it didn't make it right. There was still shitty actions.
What's wild though is that like when we were forced to put seatbelts on, it almost felt like why are you forcing us to do this?
Yeah.
And then but not long thereafter, it's like, I would not feel safe in a car without a seatbelt. Eventually, you're like, wait, this is way smarter.
All you have to do is get into one car accident, too, and you're just like, holy crap. KP, I see you left another message. I am going to skip over this one. We love you, buddy, but we're going to skip over this message.
Nervous, KP. You guys are nervous, man.
Yeah, I feel bad. I don't want to do this.
You guys nervous.
Let's see. This is going to be my favorite message of the night. What's this person have to say?
Yeah, so I'm listening. I agree with Phil. And Bridge, they got pretty close, but I really think when
Oh, you got cut off, but we can leave that. You agree with Phil and Bridge. I don't know what.
Yeah, yes, we'll definitely chop that sound up.
Yeah, we'll chop that sound up too. I agree with Phil and Bridge.
I'll take it.
I take it. We'll take.
All right, so let's go. We didn't talk about the birth of the baby, and I will say this straight up: that baby came out like a rocket, and it smashed on those rocks. I mean, if that baby wasn't dead when it came out, it died as soon as it hit that fucking stone on the floor. That baby just shot right out. Ka-choosh! Just shot right out. I mean, I don't know why anyone would be there to catch that baby at that particular point. I don't understand exactly what would have happened there. But some people, I didn't see no scales on that baby. I heard people say there were. Did you see scales on the baby in that?
Yes and no. That was what I was really hoping for, a little dragon baby, but that scene was so disgusting. I couldn't really watch it. I was watching it like this, and even like I watched the episode 4 times. I was kind of like looking. I'm like, it does look grayish and scales, but I never like when editing videos. Normally, I would pause on the exact frame, scan forward like 1/30th of a frame, 1/30th of a frame, and zoom in and stuff. I just couldn't get myself to do it. I just couldn't take that baby scene. It kind of did look grayish and scaly, but at the same time, I didn't notice there was a shot of its like nice little foot. So I don't know if it was a dragon. The show tends to leave out some of that kind of magical stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. No tail or anything as it's described in the book. I believe there's like a line of it. Some say it had a tail and blah blah. But no, I too were Bridge. That was I must admit I get squeamish in situations like that, and I was a little.
Just get me past it. I didn't want to see that. Like a little baby with its head
when she rips it like in the blood. Oh, I'm a coward.
I didn't see that. I didn't see any lizard baby there at all.
No lizard
I didn't
baby.
see anything like that. I know people are saying that they said that Dan, because in Game of Thrones, that's what Mira Maz does, said that Dany's baby was a lizard baby.
Yeah.
When it came out with Khal Drogo, that it was a lizard baby. But
Gravel.
I never believed that there were lizard babies. I
do.
You do?
Lena Valarian in the books, she had supposedly had one, and there's a couple other people like Alice Haraway or Eleanor Costain and Jane Westling. 2 of them back to Omega the Cruel's time did, and then Danny and Lena, but they skipped Lena in the show.
I love how Tony Sled in the live chat just keeps going lizard.
KP says the head looked misshapen, and I did again the first time I was just like the second time the same thing, and the third time I was like sort of like, okay, is this a dragon baby or not? And I was like, whoa, the head looks misshapen, but then I was like, oh yeah, it fell on its freaking head. It got its skull crushed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it fell right on the rocks. I mean that's right on the rocks that baby came out.
Yeah, it was at a fast pace.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's like the Hagrid ride at Universal. We got Antoine says, what's Antoine gonna say? Never say that George R. R. Martin needs to know that people want more of House of the Dragon. George R. R. Martin should collaborate with I mean, we know Antoine Thomas. I think we will eventually, especially if this show keeps being as successful, we will get a Blackfire Rebellion. That could be one of our House of the Dragon seasons.
Well, I think that you'll get
and Duncan Egg as well.
Duncan Egg. You're gonna get Duncan Egg. And that's gonna happen. They're gonna do the Duncan Egg show, guaranteed, because it survives too much now for it not to be there. The next show that you'll get will probably most likely, and you'll see some of that in there. But if they do House of the Dragon like an anthology, I think the next one would be Aegon's Conquest.
Probably. I think that's the one people want. He has some casting. Orlando Bloom as young Prince Viserys II. Amanda Siegfried as Laura Rojar, and Aegon IV is a tragic story of how he neglected his wife and son but crowned his bastards children's royalty. Orlando Bloom. Would you like to see Orlando Bloom as a Targaryen?
No. I haven't seen Orlando Bloom in years.
Yeah, since the last when he left the Pirates thing, I haven't seen him in the month.
It would have to be Aegon's Conquest, because they have mentioned it so many times in this show that it would help set people up for it. They'd be there. And I don't think they were going to do another one without dragons. I think dragons is a key. They're them having dragons in the show. They're going to want to keep having dragons. So I think it's going to be some the time period that has dragons.
And
so
Duncan Egg is going to be so character heavy. It's going to be a great sort of parallel piece to have on with The Last of Us on HBO at the same time. And just those two, because I think by the time Last of Us gets into its big mix, if it's a hit the way it wants, Duncan Egg will probably be getting started. And I think those two series will work well off each other in off seasons. Not that they're exactly alike, but they do, feature a pair. And I think there's a lot of fun combat and some characters in Duncan Egg. I always thought that's going to be one of the most successful when they actually get there. And there's so much of it theoretically with Summerhall is going to be about trying to get dragons back. So it could be a wonderful sort of conclusion in some ways, or another capstone to a Targaryen sort of story.
I love Duncan Egg. Actually,
one of my favorites. Yeah.
I reread half of it today, and after we get off the stream, that's what I'm finishing the second.
Dude, I was listening to it on the plane back and forth with Fire and Blood and Duncan Egg. And I said this many times before. If, unfortunately, because of Roy Dotrice, Peter, we can't hear Peter or Baelish anymore. I hope Harry Lloyd is who they pick to do the Winds of Winter narration, because out of all the voice actors, that do different stuff for the Game of Thrones series and the Song of Ice and Fire series. He's my favorite, even more than Roy Dotrice. I love him.
like him, but sometimes I think he whispers a little bit too much.
I hear you.
Sometimes when he whispers,
I like it though.
He does whisper a little. To me, he whispers a little bit too much. You know, I think Ian Glenn.
Oh, he's great too.
He is really good. Harry Lloyd, the new book. Harry Lloyd did the new book that just came out.
Oh, he
Rise of the
did.
Dragon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No recap guy. Rishi, the recap guy on HBO. That gives the vocal and he gets off the dragon. Does the voice commentary. Carol Funk is late, but still here. Never too late, Carol.
It's never too late, Carol Funk. Thank you for inventing. We're about to wrap up anyway.
Yeah, but on that note, we're gonna go. We're gonna go now.
Yeah, no. Don't make me laugh. Of course, we'll stay for at least another 15 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes. We'll stay for this stream, and then.
But Carol, we gotta leave. Carol Funk's here. We gotta go. We gotta get off.
We love Carol Funk.
So what do you think about Sir Eric? I loved his scene. Sir Eric Cargill, or Cargill, however you want to say it. When he showed up to Dragonstone, he bent the knee and he gave a speech, which is very similar to like the speech that they give at the Night's Watch. And let me just make a disclaimer. Like, I love women, so I'm very hardcore to women. But that's a handsome dude. He looks pretty not like beautiful, but not like he's like a. Like, I like Uhtred Ragnarsson, and part of the reason I like Uhtred Ragnarsson is because he's a good looking guy. It's like, yeah, I want to root for this hero. Like, I'm rooting for Sir Eric. I think he just has the look, his voice, his delivery, everything about his character is pretty awesome. I thought. So,
I did love the speech. It definitely was a Night's Watch. There's always been parallels between the Night's Watch and the Gold Cloaks. I mean, the King's Guard, right? So I thought it was good, and she looked very royal at that time when he gave her that crown.
Yep.
It was just so perfect also because the other dudes are they're there and they're supporting him, but he came up there and she didn't even have to ask him for his support. He got on and he started that whole chain reaction of everyone eventually bending the knee. Well, everyone except for Rhaenys. That was just such a good scene.
Yeah, well, Rhaenys don't do nothing until her husband do it. Like Rhaenys stayed back. She didn't bend the knee until Corlys. Her and Corlys they're in lockstep. I'm not doing this until my man does this, and that's it. And then once he went on board with it, then it was like, all right, let's go. But she's the reason why Corlys went on board with it. I mean, she's the reason why it went down. He backed her because of her.
Yeah, that actress too, man, she's killing it. She doesn't have too many lines. Actually, here's something I'll say. Obviously, her facial expressions are awesome. She comes across as confident, smart, intelligent, caring, badass.
Yep.
But also, just as a character, they don't give her fluff. When she talks, she gets right to the point. Always, she's so cool.
Oh, watch her in Nurse Jackie. In Nurse Jackie, she's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Underrated show. Nurse Jackie.
That's when I fell in love with her when I was seeing Nurse Jackie. Yeah, I'm married this woman right here.
I think when she came into the room in the beginning of the episode, I'm pretty sure the first thing she said is they're like, "Hello, Rhaenys," and she's like, "King Viserys is dead." It's like, what? She's
dead.
Yeah, cut the shit. Yeah,
yeah, she's so cool.
Damon's you could have burned them all. That's not my place. I don't do that. I'm not getting in the way. I would be the reason.
And I thought that what she said was justified. Yeah. It's not her place to do that. I'm not here to do your dirty work, Damon. You go burn them. All right. Mm-hmm. You put that on your head. Don't need that on my head. I agree with her 100% on that.
It was it was equal to like a King in the North kind of scene where you just see everyone bowing to her. But I agree. It's the same. I always have to ask this because I'm stupid, but it's the same actor playing both twins, right? It's not actual twins.
Yeah, it's the same actor.
Wait, the Cargill twins or the Lannisters?
The Lannisters, I know it's the same guy.
The Cargill twins is two different. It's twins in real life.
Oh, it's actually.
Are
okay.
they really?
I think so, because someone mentioned it in the chat, and I remember they said something like, without facial hair, they looked a lot younger. Because I always say, I don't follow casting and that kind of stuff. But someone, I think it was like Miss Duncan Toll or someone, had sent me a picture of the Cargill twins, and I was like, what? That's not them. They look like little kids. And now a second ago on the stream, I was like, the Cargill twins are awesome.
Okay, so they're real twins. The Lannisters are fake
so.
Twins. They're real twins. Okay.
Eric Graham, thank you for subscribing and welcome to the family. Oh wow, I didn't know that. I thought they were just playing that again.
Tony, I wasn't sure. That's why I was asking the question because I never can tell because they do such a great job with the fake twins now in filming, like with the filming techniques. That's hard to tell sometimes. Like you look at the Social Network movie with that dude playing those two twins, and like you could just pull it off so well now, and even in the Lannisters. But it's good to see that they actually cast real twins.
Yo, what's wild is that like when I saw them on screen in the show, I thought that the image that people had sent me a long time ago was just wrong, but I guess it is them. They look so much different with facial hair. And I think it's also they're older. They're like 10 years older. That's what
we'll call them Mary, Kate, and Ashley from now on. Wow. Go.
Yeah, all right. So next stream we do. All right. And I'm gonna put it out there. We're gonna do a full show recap, full spoilers. All right. Next stream will be a 100% full spoiler for the full show year recap, and we're going to talk about what's going to happen next season, what we think how far they're going to go for next season. We're going to talk about the things in this season, but it'll be 100% spoiler stream, and I'll make sure it's in the title so that you know about it, so that everyone who wants to say everything about everything they want to talk about will have. This will be the time to bring it all out, and we'll talk about it. It'll be a no hold barred spoiler show. The next one,
unlimited stream.
Maybe we out if y'all free, I don't know, tomorrow, Friday, whenever y'all free, let me know.
I'm game whenever, any night.
Oh, so we'll do it very soon. Maybe do it tomorrow night. Maybe do it tomorrow night. We may just come right back on tomorrow night and just do it and just get this thing done. Not done, but get this thing wrapped up and everything else this whole week and all that. So hopefully, hey. Nonsense. I got these dogs' bones this big, and then they don't even want to chew them. These rawhide bones. And the dog who tries to chew the bone is the smallest dog, this big, and then the bone is 3 times the size of the dog.
That's awesome.
And then the little ones that I got for the little dog, the big dogs want to eat that one.
That's wild. How many dogs? 2, 3?
Yeah, there's 3 dogs in there.
Nice.
There's 3 dogs. 3 dogs in there running around and everything else. All right, so all right, let's get up out of here. All right, so thanks everyone for showing up and everything else. Hopefully we do it tomorrow. We're gonna try to plan on tomorrow full spoiler stream, and we can talk everything that you want to talk about, and we'll get into it. And KP, call up with all your blood and all your bologna and cheese sandwiches and everything else that you want to do. You call up tomorrow.
Yum.
This is when we talk about the AU Pac-Man. I didn't see you in there, brother. Good looks. What's going on, AU Pac-Man? All right, everybody else. All right, thanks everybody who came out here. If you like the way to do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace.